Ah. Hell, it might be time, fellas. Hey, you guys, what up? It's me, it's your boy Dodgemark. Welcome back to the stream. Today, I'm not sure what I want to play. I have a bunch of installed games that I've basically that are basically just sitting on my back burner, and I don't know what I want to go along with at the moment. So far, if we don't have any other suggestions, because currently I have like 2 new games that, well, not new, but 2 games that are basically kind of sitting there waiting for me to do stuff with them. There's also Subnautica, and I've been looking around desperately trying to find where I can buy myself a heart rate meter without having to order it, because then I have to basically spend a bunch of extra money for no apparent reason. So I've just been looking into that. So the plan for today, more or less on my end, is basically to go through rating all of the Hellraiser movies, because, side note, I spent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday basically sitting down whenever I had free time and watching all of the Hellraiser movies. And to be quite honest with you, a bunch of them are really good. Not all of them. As a matter of fact, I feel like the vast majority of them were kind of garbage. Never finished Fallout 4 DLC. Oh, Jesus. Fallout 4? Do I even have that installed nowadays? Yes. Don't blame me if you're not finishing, though. Yeah, I don't know. Fallout 4, especially with the ending being so anticlimactic, I kind of just went like, wow, this is a game. And then having to go through, because like it really squishes you. It really does. Like, I'm sorry, but like I feel I still to this day I feel like Fallout New Vegas is the best one. Like, there are definitely features of 4 that I would like to implement. Yeah, that I would like to implement in New Vegas purely because it's gonna, you know, improve the quality of life. Like potentially introducing the crafting system of 4 into New Vegas, that would be really good, because New Vegas has this huge issue of like, oh, you need these specific items to craft this one thing. And guess what? The one thing that you craft is like usually weight 1. The 5 ingredients that like you need to craft it are a grand total of like 3. Or some shit like that. It had been remastered 10,000 years ago. Yes, but Todd Howard hates the fact that he didn't create that one himself. That's just how things are. Just give me a second. Are you actually joking? Okay. That's very interesting. So if I... Okay. I had a bit of an issue on my end. New Vegas 1 in run though. Really? Just go maximum Unga Bunga? I guess I could do that at some point. Maybe we can do it like an event. Just have like 1 day of me just running around in New Vegas in 1 int. I don't think you're verbal at that point, aren't you? Like, you don't speak, really. It's gonna be so funny whenever Easy Pete basically patches my head up and he goes like, oh, I sure hope that I didn't do anything wrong with you. And I look semi-lucid for like the grand total of 2 seconds before I actually go to my special points and readjust them. Need to play original Fallout. And that one you can legit play as 1 into Andy and people are so rude to you. Wow. That's great. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Plus I probably will be having to work a lot with my fellow companions if that's the case. We'll see. Could just max out charisma and strength. Just maximum himbo it. But yeah, I was gonna go through just 1 moment. Let's see. Hellraiser movie tier list. That's the one. Can we... Is there... But these are all like already... What do you mean remix this list? That's not... What? Okay, what if I just look for... Hellraiser? Hellraiser movie franchise, excellent. Would be nice if I could see them a little bit better. Also, I don't believe that all of these actually have all of the movies. I think there's more of them. Boone looks at you. It uses as a door stopper. Yep. Wouldn't be surprised. Oh, there's also the rating of the Hellraiser Cenobites. Oh. Yeah, we can go and raid the some of the Cenobites as well later on. Although, let me look into these. Yeah, no, I recognize all of them. Yeah, I recognize all of them. That's surprising. Actually, no, I don't recognize some of them. I like how there's like just 3 different iterations of clackers. Yeah. Cenobite Awooga rating. The fuckability test of Cenobites. I just need to make sure that I find, like, not all of these actually have all of the Hellraiser movies, which is a little bit difficult to... it's making my job very difficult. And some of them are actually really small, so I can't even tell which movie is which. Franchise ranking? I think... The Hellbound Heart. Oh, there's a couple of ones that are actually not written down as Hellraiser. That's interesting. Okay, let's start with... I think... Wait, how many? 3, 6, 9, 12. 3, 6, 9... 11. Oh, wait, no, 11. 11. Okay, so I think both of these are 11. So, let me just see where I can set this up. Where it would be... to do so. Which one of these has a screen capture? Okay, that one would work. Okay. Let me just take this into full. So, we'll go with the Hellraiser thing. There is no Hellraiser video games, shame. Horror elements of... you'll find Pinhead in certain locations. Like, there's a lot of homage to Pinhead. These are my... to begin with, these are my personal opinions, and it would have been really nice if whenever I mouse over something, it actually had, like, a label of what it is, because, like... It's really difficult to tell which one is which. So I'll do something. Find some pincushion, I get this reference. Yeah. Not too far away from the truth. Just give me a second. Okay, lovely. I actually have all of the movies here. Good stuff. So I can at least pay attention to it. So, let's start with the classic 1987 Hellraiser. Such an easy job being graphic designer for these movies. It's just Pinhead, yes. It's because he's the most important one. So, I'll begin with the first... As a matter of fact, I dare say 2 movies. The first 2 movies are insanely good. Because... The first movie basically gives you a nice expose of, like, who the Cenobites are. They actually give that good representation of, like, these are not demons, which is a common misconception that they keep doing in the later series. Like, the whole cube thing, the puzzle box, whenever it goes into the Leviathan configuration, specifically sends out for them. And that's the one thing that I feel like is not as explored in nowadays. They always go for the Leviathan configuration in every single movie that this thing like appears. The only maneuver that it guarantees is the Leviathan configuration, which is basically like the diagonal bits of the cube, you know, lifting up, twisting in 45 degrees, slamming down into that weird star-esque shape, and then going back up and reverting back to its original setup, and then clacking back in, and that basically called you into the Cenobites realm. It would have been really great, because there was one place for sure that, like, especially in the first movie, she opens up the gateway, and it's like one long hallway where this like giant nasty little thing with a stinger on its back that it just kind of moved with its back legs, you know, holding onto the walls, while its front were, you know, right next to its mouth. That was like a really cool feature that basically showed us that the puzzle box actually has so many facets and so many different ways to be utilized, and it actually is a gateway to other dimensions. It's not just the Cenobites, it's just that they are like, how do I put this? They are the easiest thing to dial on the phone, if that makes sense. Leviathan configuration seems to be the easiest one, and I think that's intentional for the box. But people who, you know, have enough time and access to it eventually learn that it's not just that. It's just that, you know, the most common configuration for the cube is the Leviathan one. And even then, it's only specific people that can open it. So, it's like a whole thing. And I really liked the concept of, like, you know, the first person to succumb story-wise to the cube was this guy, and he was going for specifically for them. Ended up actually getting what exactly what he wanted, but he got way more than he bargained for, which was really cool. And the whole fact that, like, it basically, how do I put this? The cube kind of works as an anchor point for your body as well. Because more often than not, the place that you activated the cube is also the room that your spirit more or less is connected to, or you have like a physical connection to that realm. So it was kind of cool that it didn't fully whisk you away. There was like a fragment of you that still exists in that one space where you opened the liminal space between other spaces, if that makes sense. And I was really into that. I also really love the fact that they actually, like, they didn't focus on Pinhead specifically. Like, all of the Cenobites were, like, their own thing. Pinhead was, like, their leader, more or less, but there was, like, others. The lady with the fucking vocal cords that were just, like, flayed open were so cool. Clatters, I'm a big fan of. Clatters, as a matter of fact, might be the one Cenobite that had, like, 4 or 5 different iterations throughout the movies. And if you're wondering about who I'm calling Clatters, it's basically this one guy that has nothing on his face except his, like, exposed gummy teeth that just constantly clatter all the time. I also liked Thick Pervo. I call him Thick Pervo because he was basically just this, like, overweight dude with glasses on that constantly was licking his fucking serrated teeth and lips. Oh, he was... ugh. But it was like, they actually represented, to a certain extent, some sort of sensation, if that made sense. There was like they were more or less a representation of some kind of cardinal sin, more or less, or they were like an advanced representation of a cardinal sin in the first movies. And it wasn't just, you know, Pinhead comes along and it just goes, "Roar, pain, we have such things to show, we have such sights to show you." Like, eventually it kind of reached to that point, but we'll get to it eventually. But Hellraiser 1, 2, I would say even 3. Even 3 was like a really good S tier. Because, like, they didn't go into, like, oh, you know, we're just demons and you just summon us and it's just the innocents that suffer from this. It never was that way, funnily enough. As a matter of fact, it was like this whole thing that, like, oh, there's a certain aspect of your soul that calls to experience these things. And it's whether, you know, your human spirit kind of just resists this level of temptation. Because, like, they have gone into, like, they say it themselves. They seek experience. They are seekers of experience. The explorers of the far realms. Sensation beyond sense. Like, it doesn't sound demonic. It sounds like these guys have basically wanted to explore every single avenue of sense that they could have. And then there was the whole Leviathan thing where, you know, it's just like the giant pillar that was their god, more or less, which was also really fucking cool. Like, they're just like... they have like an eldritch horror of a fucking monolith that basically is like their conduit to every single place they go. It was insane. And the fact that there was... I would have really liked to see what it takes for another person to get Cenobited, if that makes sense. Because, like, we didn't really see anybody truly become a Cenobite. We had, like, ones that were, like, quickly adapted into ones. But nothing, you know, nothing awfully specific. There wasn't a true Cenobite conversion. Even in the last movie, there was no true Cenobite conversion. Or maybe we just needed... It just needs enough time, maybe. If they ever design... They should design it as a trilogy, if you ask me. They should do what they did with the original Hellraiser and actually create a decent trilogy of horror. Which would be unique in its own setting, because not everybody actually sits down and goes for, like, the horror genre and actually making a series of movie in the horror genre where they where they just connect properly. Like, sure, there's a couple of ones like Friday the 13th and all of that, where they basically, like, do reworks of them and they get, like, all of the old school actors to basically join in on it. Like, that's good, but it's not exactly what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about like an intended trilogy. Not the producers were happy with the first movie, so now we're gonna make like 15 spin-offs. That's why the first trilogy was really good, because it actually had like a gradation of like what was happening, more or less. Because if I remember correctly, the first movie was basically about the family and how this guy basically came back from the Cenobite's clutches. Then the second movie was basically his girlfriend coming back, or being brought back to be exact, from this doctor who was super fascinated into the Cenobite's world and the puzzle boxes. And then the third one, I think... Wait, let me check something real quick. Hell on Earth? Actually, I'll have to make an adjustment. I'll make a small adjustment. Hellraiser 3 wasn't as good as 1 and 2. And the pure reason why is because they kind of had a really hard emphasis on war. Like, war was the big thing. I really like the whole idea of just, like, having... How to put this? I liked the idea that they had behind the movie, where it was like, oh, this guy got separate, like, this guy's soul got separated into these two different aspects for so long that even after they got, no, it wasn't exactly reunited. It was more like, no, it wasn't even his soul splitting. It was literally his own evil took manifest. Yeah, that's the one. So even whenever his soul got redeemed, like, the evil that is Pinhead persisted. Like, that was the whole shtick about it. It was, you know... Like, in Hellraiser 2, they basically get reminded that they were people once. So, there's a whole thing, like, that just got ignored later on. I honestly would love for the Cenobites to actually be human. Because that makes the most sense. I would say maybe the first Cenobites weren't human, but whenever Pinhead came to the scene, because they kind of went with the narrative of the puzzle box being created by this one French guy. Whenever they released Angelique, I would say that would have well, that's also kind of the narrative of, you know, the cube being a portal to hell. That's kind of sucky. Which is also why I kind of feel like there's like a specific divide with all of these movies, where there's like certain aspects that they get that are really good, and certain aspects that they don't get that are kind of terrible. And we'll get to it soon enough. From there on out, let me just check what the next one is. Because we got through the first Hellraiser movies, and then they kind of become a little bit worse over time. Because then we go into Hellraiser Bloodline. I think this is Hellraiser Bloodline here. And Hellraiser Bloodline goes into the whole story of it. And it's kind of there, it kind of isn't. It switches between like 3 different timelines, which is kind of confusing. I don't know why they go all the way into the future, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be the final conclusion of like the Hellraiser. Because like, what happened to Pinhead in the first movie? So he got like banished more or less, I would say, in the first movie. Did they come back in the second one? I don't recall. I think they did. Yeah, they did. They did come back, and then they got reminded that they were human and they died. But his evil, like the manifestation of Pinhead's evil, basically like persisted, and it came back from the mattress as that one pillar of like flesh, more or less. It was a little bit of a JoJo reference with the Pillar Men. And the whole third movie was basically that in the beginning. And once they got reunited, I don't remember if he got re-banished or just destroyed. I think he got re-banished. So just having him come back and be completely destroyed next time was basically just like a... Yeah, okay. It just happened. And then we kind of go into... We go into the 2000s. And for the next 10 years, there was basically some really, really, really garbage in movies. Like, really garbage movies. There was like a couple of... 2 or 3 movies, more or less. The next 2 or 3 movies are basically just like... They barely feature Pinhead. They barely actually have anything to do with the puzzle box. The puzzle box just kind of appears there for... Mainly for story-driven purposes. It's so dumb. So Hellraiser Inferno is basically like this one guy that is... let me see if I can remember correctly which one that one was. I need to check the trailer real quick. Let me just mute that thing because we don't need to see it. Oh yeah, it was the yeah. The 2000s one was about a detective that basically was being evil. I love that I saw not very good ones. I'm really sorry about that, by the way. You really hit into the 2000s ones that were really, 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 really garbage. Like these next 4 movies, I would say Inferno was kind of fine-ish. But it wasn't great. And then there's like this, and this just immediately go like here. Actually, no, this one was not as bad, I would say. But these ones were garbage. It's fine, like I've seen many crap 2000s films. Yes, but these were specifically ass. One of them was filmed in 3 weeks. Oh, Jesus. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So, Inferno, really bad. The next ones, let me just remind myself which one is which. After the 2000 ones, we got Hellraiser Hellseeker, which was basically like another one that was just so insanely dumb. When it comes to its whole creation. It's so... and then there was like a whole bunch of documentaries for some reason in 2005. I thought that they were movies, but they weren't. I think there was a 2008 iteration or something like that. It was like still garbage. Oh no, it was... Was it 2005s? Yes. It was the 2005 movies. Oh my god, those are absolutely cringe-ass garbage. I remember. Another evil man ensued. There was the ice cream man with his creepy van. Yeah. That's in Inferno. That's in Inferno where we had the detective that was basically like hyper intelligent, but he was basically a dickbag for no apparent reason, and he didn't give enough time for his family. And it basically turns out that he was like in a hell loop. Then the two 2005 ones, the Hellraiser Deader and Hellraiser Hellworld, were such a clown fest. So Hellraiser Deader was basically about this resurrectionist cult, and we didn't even see that much of like Pinhead was actually helpful in that movie. Deader name alone should get Deader is because basically if you didn't believe in the cult, so there was like a cult in Romania that more or less this one guy would resurrect people like from the dead. They would kill themselves and then he would get them back. But they would just kind of... how do I even put this? They don't heal from their wounds. So, for example, one lady, the first chick that we actually see, just shoots herself in the head in an attempt of Russian roulette. And when he brings her back, she still has the fucking hole in her head. You know? That one in aesthetics actually wasn't too bad, but it was still pretty bad. Like the Pinhead mainly there was Pinhead there was mainly just a helpful guy until the very end, where he was basically like, oh, you opened the box, now we own your soul, and she just killed herself and went, fuck you. No. Visually it was a little bit better than the previous ones, but it was still really garbage. Then Hellworld was basically like a revenge plot. Like nothing actually necessarily evil happened except for the guy whose kid died. Basically just wanted to exact revenge on his 4 friends who did nothing wrong in the situation, except they didn't get involved enough to basically stop him from killing himself, which was so dumb. Until the very end, where basically he fiddles with the box and it turns out that it's the actual box. Revelations was filmed in 3 weeks because the copyright was about to expire, and that movie was rushed to keep it. I'm gonna get to Revelations, and it's gonna be so funny when I tell you this, but Revelations, actually A tier. We'll get to it in a second. It was so funny to me when I watched it. Because I feel like there's another movie after 2008 that I didn't address. No, it's actually Revelations in 2011. That's wonderful. Okay. 2011's Revelations, actually an A-tier movie. You wanna know why? Because it actually encapsulated what the Cenobites were about properly. Genuinely. They kind of did like a whole bounce back to the original concept where somebody opens the box, they get trapped in there, they get torn asunder, because, you know, the Cenobites are offering them just like the sensation beyond sensation, more or less. And one of their friends basically has to kill a bunch of people to get them back with their blood. So, wildly enough, Revelations kind of came back to the storyline properly, because they didn't outright call the Cenobites demons. And that's the first time they didn't do so since the first trilogy. Which is so bizarre to me. Because they had like this whole dumb spin that they were actually, you know, hell servants. And they kind of returned to that in the next Hellraiser series, in the next Hellraiser movie, but I'll still give it an A tier just for the right reasons. So, we'll go back to Revelations real quick. They actually created an interesting movie. The acting is really bad, but the movie's really interesting. The plotline's really interesting. They made it really good because, like, there was one of the first Cenobite conversions that was not intended. However, it was done so by the desire of the person opening the box. So, spoiler alert, what happens in the movie is basically these two friends go on like a bender in Tijuana, Mexico. Or I should say Mexico, depending on... It's supposed to be Tijuana, Mexico. But yeah. And they find the puzzle box, and one of the guys is like super into it. Accidentally has, basically finds a hooker, has sex with her in the bathroom, kills her under the influence of the cube, which then makes him open the cube, and it basically gets torn asunder. And his friend, super depressed about the whole thing, kind of is super shook until he gets like one lady friend to come over to his place, and they start doing the deed while she's super into it, but the cube starts whispering to him. And he kills the lady, more or less. And his friend basically starts getting reformed again from the blood. So he does that to I think maybe like 2 or 3 more people, with the last one basically being a prostitute with a child, which they did in their own room. Which basically became too much for the guy. And whenever the other dude basically went like, "Oh, we need one more for the skin. I need the skin." He basically went like, "No, this is too much for me. I'm quitting." So the dude basically knocked him upside the head, skinned him alive, and took his skin off and went back to home. Whilst the other dude basically was like still alive without his skin, he desperately just like reached for the box, and the Cenobites took him in. And that was like a really cool thing. There was like a whole revenge plot. I think at the end of the day, there was maybe like one person who survived the entire ordeal of like 2 separate families, like, two husbands, 2 wives, 1 daughter, 2 sons. But it was actually an insanely good movie in comparison to all of the other ones, which was so funny to me. Then we go back to, this is Hellraiser Judgment. And Hellraiser Judgment kind of took it very biblical, if that makes sense. They really wanted to emphasize the fact that this, that Pinhead is a servant of hell. Which, again, dumb, is returning to form and not being good at all. Actually, no, fuck it. We leave it at high B tier. I would leave it at... yeah, we'll leave it at high B tier purely because it goes back to the form of this is heaven, this is hell, and they're the ones working here, not just like forces beyond our human comprehension and senses. Which is what I feel like it should be. Which is exactly why... more or less, the whole thing is about, like, this cop being judged for the things he does. But he was also, like, an ex-soldier and stuff like that. And his actions were so vile to the point where the people judging him started becoming ill with how bad the things are. But he was also kind of intervened with... basically, heaven was intervening in this entire business because they wanted to have managed evil, as they called it, on Earth, because otherwise evil runs rampant. So they kind of just choose the most deplorable individuals out there that still do, how do I put this? They do bad things for a morally good reason. So this guy, for example, was like a serial killer that just kept killing, his victims because of their because, for example, their vanity or their, like, he's basically a larger sin that basically stomps out lesser sin for the sake of people reminding themselves to be good. So, plot-wise, it was kind of interesting. The fact that it returned it to heaven and hell kind of lowered the overall quality of the movie quite a lot. Now, this is where we go into Hellraiser 2022, the Hulu special, which is, again, an S tier. So, we've had this interesting pickup where the last movie that they created actually kind of came really close to what I believe the actual Hellraiser experience should be. I still feel like like the whole idea of them demanding for people to be sacrificed until they get audience with God is kind of dumb. And the fact that they kind of force the main character to continue with the sacrifices was kind of dumb as well, in my opinion. I feel like it's the temptation that drives people to keep using the cube. So I get the idea of like, oh, you sacrifice 7 people. Or was it 5? I don't remember. And, you know, the cube changes configuration, which was really cool. But also, I feel like there should have been, I don't know. I feel like they're not quite getting it. I feel like there's a really good truth between the first 2 Hellraiser movies and the last Hellraiser movie. That they are kind of getting really close to getting it. Because in my opinion, Hellraiser is about this dimensional cube that opens portals to other gateways. That opens gateways to other dimensions that actually could lead you to like this incredible microcosm of like the smaller dimensions. But the easiest one to get to when it comes to configurations of the cubes that the cube that opens, you know, the gateway is the Leviathan one. And it's not just because it's the easiest configuration, it's the one that most people are drawn to. And I feel like we should explore that a whole bunch. I feel like it's not that not everybody can open the cube, it's just that a lot of people are prone to opening Leviathan. I feel like there's more to the cube that they want to let on. Which is bizarre. But like, they kind of really got awfully close to the OG in the last Hellraiser. Because they basically created this like trade. It was like, if you open the cube you can be sacrificed, but whoever holds the final configuration, you know, can get the wish, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like that's not perfectly... it's not as predatory. I feel like what the first Leviathan opening configuration of a person should be is an experience, an invitation, an offering for them to come to the other side and experience this, like, world of, you know... this combination of debauchery, suffering, torture, and pleasure at the same time to the point where it twists you. Like, they should give you a taste of what that corruption feels like in the first opening. And then they start forcing you to reach into the atrocities. And with every single new sacrifice, you get just a little bit more. But it's like, it's also a test of your heart. So, there's multiple endings to this. If you go into it way too enthusiastically, you're recognized as too corrupt. As like, too far gone, if that makes sense. You're already lost in the sauce. You're not gonna become a good Cenobite. A good Cenobite measures. A good Cenobite makes sure that, like, there's, that you're just on that hair-thin line between insanity and lucidity. Between that thin line between pleasure and pain, just like even a hair is too wide for them. It's, as a matter of fact, even having that limit is too wide for them because it's all mixed in together. It's all of it all at the same time. And those who are terrified by the first taste and leave the cube are now easier to be marked, if that makes sense. So those who are terrified from the experience of the first taste of Cenobite's experience would basically just like leave the cube, but make them, but it just kind of starts knowing at their conscious that like they know this exists. They can't tell anybody about it. There's like this whole world of experience, and after you get that first taste, nothing is ever the same because you've already experienced too much. It already has. like expanded and dulled your senses towards these things. And, you know, the cube itself, just the sheer presence of the cube, like, it just has you leading further and further into this temptation. So I would feel like whenever you reach that 7th sacrifice, whenever you reach the end of that road, and, you know, you followed through out of fear, or out of interest, or out of curiosity, or out of purely because you were aware of this and wanted to become a Cenobite, like, the final thing is like a test of what you truly desire. And not every option that they give you, not every configuration that you receive actually leads you towards becoming a Cenobite. I think that's what made the last movie really good. It's the fact that they showed us that there's options. Like, they don't just choose for you what happens to you. You make the choice. And I think that's what makes Hellraiser so good. It's the fact that it offers you temptation, and it's up to you whether you want to have it. You could open the box for the first time. You could experience what Cenobites have to offer for you. Even just like a fraction of it. And it would leave you like forever changed, whether it's going to be for good or for bad, is basically just like this test of your own spirit. And those who have gotten close to it and, you know, heeded this like first taste as a warning, just like fervently try to get rid of the damn thing. And they know damn well that they can't. But that also puts them really close to the cube, and also puts them really close to those people who have experienced that temptation, and they're starting to get led on with it. And there's that insane conflict of the human psyche that we could just keep going into. It's like, oh, these people want it gone. These people wanted to see more. And there's like this one fine line between them that's like, oh, I don't, like, this is not supposed to go in these guys' hands, and it's not supposed to be in these guys' hands either. This is something necessary to exist. And, like, these people that are like, this is necessary to exist to basically, like, give us this polarizing opinion are basically the only ones that actually are available to become Cenobites. And I would really love to see a movie where we actually get, like, a proper Cenobite conversion. We kind of get that at the end of Hellraiser, of the last Hellraiser movie, where the guy basically switches from Sensation to, what was it? To Leviathan. So he actually does get converted. I think he becomes the new Clatters, more or less. But, like, we didn't get enough of it, if that makes sense. We need to know how exactly it happens. We need to see what truly it takes for you to become a proper Cenobite. Not somebody who just got recently converted and is still, like, nice and fleshy. Maybe have us, like, have the whole, well, not experience, but give us, like, a summary or, like a montage of, you know, what they go through. Is there, like, an initiation? Is there, like, a thing? Like, I feel like it's a whole ritual in on its own to, you know, commit yourself, body and spirit, to this, to, you know, become one of them. That has to go through. But yeah, that's basically what I believe is gonna be the best way to go into another movie, if there ever is a new Cenobite movie, as to how it should go. Okay. Now then, let us go into the Cenobites that are available. And I don't appreciate the fact that some of these are basically marked as Cenobites despite them not actually being ones. But it is what it is. So, let's see. First, we have... oh, what was her name? I said it earlier. I think it was an L. Something. Not Lilith. It kind of sounded a little bit French, if I'm not mistaken. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember it. I think if I open up Bloodlines or something like that, it should... where's Bloodlines? La 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 la. Ah... What was her name? I don't remember the... Oh, wait. Angelique. Angelique was the first one. Jesus Christ. So this is Angelique in her futuristic Bloodlines 4 form. Decent. I would have loved to see more abilities of her. This is Pinhead from Revelations 2011. He's like a low... Out of all of the Pinheads, he looks weird. He looks very baby-like, which was kind of dumb. This is the flamethrower guy from Hell on Earth. He's at a decent C tier. Tape Man. Tape Man was from Deaders. He's a bit of a D tier guy. I don't even recognize this dude. Mr. Thicko Pervo is going into S tier because he's like an OG. Really cool. Thought that he was amazing. Then we have the camera operator guy. He's Hell on Earth as well. Kind of dumb. He had a camera strapped to his... He basically got beheaded, and they replaced his head with a camera, and then they just kind of turned him into a Cenobite with a camera in his eyeball. Then there's the doctor from the third one. The quick Cenobite conversion, for some reason turned evil, looked way weirder than the other ones. He had this, like, weird, like... leech brain scrambler thing attached to his head that was like so dumb. Then we had the Clatter's dog. The dog Clatters. I think it was from Deaders as well. I don't recall. No, actually Clatters was from this one. Because it was alongside Angelique. I'll actually say A tier. That wasn't bad. I like how we're gonna have like 15 different iterations of Clatters. I find that really funny. I would say, which one was the Clatters that they actually gave eyeballs to? The Clatters that they gave eyeballs to is getting F tier because he looks garbage. Clatters OG... well, this is one of the... This one has an approximation of eyeballs. I'll give it an A tier underneath the dog Clatters. I think that's the new movie Clatters. Which I really liked. Then there's this lady. I don't even recall which Cenobite is this one. Like, genuinely, it looks like it's from the old movies, but I don't remember. Is this the lady? The Larynx lady? I think it's Larynx lady. Yeah. I'll put Larynx lady at the top because she's like a really cool OG of them. Then there's the prophecy ones. Actually, this guy goes to rot. The three prophetesses or judges, I don't know what you want to call them. They would basically like decide whether one was, you know, innocent or guilty based on their vom on the vomit of their sins or whatever the hell it was called. It was so dumb, the whole idea, because basically in the 2018 one, what happened was this Henry Kissinger-looking guy with a fuck ton of, you know, facial scars, basically, comes along, and he goes like, hey, you know, tell me all of your sins, and we print them out on paper, and then they just kind of have this, like, one fat guy that just eats the papers with baby tears or child's tears alongside that basically eats the pages and then vomits them out into a receptacle that basically has the vomit go into a trough where these three ladies basically would just like shove their fingers in and tell us whether they're guilty or innocent. It was really dumb. Another iteration of Clatters, S tier. I just love the guy. Then there's a whole bunch of Pinhead ones that I don't recognize. This is Larynx Lady again. Which is also another really good iteration. Pinheads... I feel like OG Pinhead is up here. Then any other Pinhead that comes along is like down here. This one is one of the Cenobites from Hell on Earth. I don't even recognize him, I don't like him. I don't even recall what his power was. He was like just a random weirdo that they found. The one from Revelations, the mini Pinhead. Kind Pinhead, McD. Yeah, more or less that's how it goes. A tier for him. Actually no, let's do decent B tier. He didn't want to become a Cenobite necessarily, it's just that he didn't have another better option. CD throwing Cenobite goes into... actually, these guys go into rot tier. Then there's one of these guys. I don't even recall what they were used for. I think they were one of the Tempters. I don't recognize this guy. Can we... look into this? Who's this guy? Because I don't recognize that. Does he have a pole on his face? I think he has like a railroad spike going from the back of his head into his mouth. It definitely looks like that. I don't recognize from where that is. As a matter of fact, like this one in the middle I recognize. I'll put them in C tier. These two I don't recognize. When migraine hits... Do you guys have ibuprofen? I seem to have a headache. Then there's the Flayer. The Flayer, not exactly a Cenobite of my taste. It was basically just like a lady in a gas mask flinging around blades. It's kind of cool. Like, it's... Okay, fine. It's cool enough to go into C tier. This guy actually goes back to D. He's a bit of a fucking... He's a flamethrower guy. It's kind of cool, but it's not exactly incredible. C tier, really low C tier, just because, you know, it was like a cool display of bladesmanship that they kind of used. Then there's half Clatters. In this iteration of Clatters, he was just like a torso, like like floating ribs above, basically. Just as for half Clatters, I would put him at A tier, just because there's not enough Clatters for me. This iteration of Clatters didn't have enough Clatters for me. This is the one that comes in... it's a third movie again. And it's basically like these mall cop security twins. That like their greatest fear was for them to be separated, so they just kind of fused them together. A decent concept of a Cenobite, but I don't know. Maybe not decent enough, I'd say. Still better than some of these iterations, though. Then we have the Henry Kissinger. I found him a compelling character. I feel like he's like a really high A tier. Like he was interesting for the movie in any case. I would have liked him to actually be a proper Cenobite, but I don't believe he is. Like I don't... Whenever they're not, you know, in this aesthetic fit, it just doesn't work. I think that's another iteration of Clatters. He automatically gets an A tier, an S tier, because it's Clatters. Then there was the weird babyface giant, and he was the guy who carried around the blade thing. I don't know if he did anything else. He was just like a, you know, generalized meh. Then there was the two slutty Cenobite ladies that go into one of the movies and then just kind of finger a guy underneath his skin. I'd say that's pretty high up there. I I've noticed the small fact that this rating doesn't actually have any of the new Xenobites. Not Xenobites. What was it? Cenobites. I would put them at fucking D tier. They're kind of meh. And the pillar goes into A tier. I thought that it was pretty cool that they had like a giant monolith, crazy fucking creature. And honestly, I would put all of the 2022 ones in A or S tier anyways. So I think that was redundant. Like, needless to say, the latest iteration of Cenobites that we have seen in cinema actually were really, really good. Worm with sunglasses and #1, hell yeah. That's Thicko Pervo. I call him Thicko Pervo. Because his eyes are sewn shut, and he just constantly licks his lips, mouth, and his serrated teeth, and that's all he does when he's around. And I love him. I love Thicko Pervo. Thicko Pervo is the best. I'll actually readjust them a little bit. Because Larynx Lady is actually really good as well. There we go. Wonderful. Where can you see Thicko? Thicko is in the first movies. They didn't get him back for some reason. I don't know why. Let me see if I can find some Thicko Pervo content real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. Because he was... He pretty much was that. Actually, I need to go to YouTube. Probably gonna have... 3 years ago, the official best part. Okay, that might be it. Oh, that's the 1987 one. No, that's whenever that's the second movie. Frank's Resurrection. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the latest one really outdid themselves with the costumes. Kirsty takes her uncle to meet the Cenobites. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good place to be. We're gonna make sure that we show specifically the one thing that we're trying to look for. Because otherwise it's gonna be like a whole thing. Yeah, so it is Larynx Lady that I keep looking into. Okay. Come on, there's gotta be at least one shot of Thicko Pervo. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Let me just switch that back in. So this is from the first movie. This is like closing to the end of first movie. Wait. I need clackers to begin this. I fucking love it. I love clackers. There's Pinhead, there's Larynx Lady. And then there was Thicko Pervo for a second there.
No. We had to hear it from your own lips.
This isn't for your eyes.
You
He is Thicko,
set
right?
me
Yep.
up, bitch.
Problem is we don't see a lot of Thicko Pervo in this specific scene. He kind of just sits there in the back. You don't see him doing his like trademark lip licking. But yeah, here he gets like all hooked up and stuff. and then he just gets torn asunder. But yeah, Pico Pervo. Oh, 28? Wait, every Cenobite that has appeared in Hellraiser movies.
I am pain.
What is that, like Marvelous Videos? Okay, you guys want to see? You guys want to see all of them so I can see whether I have actually missed out on something? It's a 35-minute video, just so I could, you know, be completely transparent. It's gonna be a long while if we watch this. Ah, fuck it. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood.
Cenobites, those iconic figures from Clive Barker's 1986 novella.
So just to you know, give credit where credit is due, let me just copy the link for this. And oh, I can't send it here. Give me a second. I'll open up my channel. Send it a couple of times. Make sure to watch the content of the original guide. This is not my content. I'm watching it for the sake of commentary. This is created by Marvelous Videos 1 year ago. I'm guessing it's gonna actually go into the other ones as well. And I want to see some in-depth explanations to see how close I was to, you know.
The hellbound heart are angels to some, demons to others. These beings hail from a hellish labyrinth under the rule of Leviathan, a deity of sorts. Barker crafted them as theologians of the Order of the Gash, devout followers of Leviathan. Leading this pack is the infamous Pinhead, also known as the Hell Priest. Cenobites pop up on Earth when there's a glitch in the space-time continuum, usually triggered by certain otherworldly objects. The most famous of these is the Lament configuration, a puzzle box.
Oh, the
Solve
Lament
it and you've got
configuration.
yourself a one-way ticket to becoming a Cenobite. In this rundown, we're going to explore 29 of the most gruesomely fascinating Cenobites from the films. So, for all you followers of Leviathan, brace yourselves, as this
Hell
video
yeah.
will blur the line between agony and ecstasy. Let's get started. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Pico Pervo.
I am the way.
Pinhead, the fearsome priest of hell, is someone you just can't overlook. Even if you're not a Hellraiser fan, you gotta admit, this guy is definitely in the big leagues of movie monsters. This iconic figure from the Hellraiser series has struck fear and fascination in equal measure. His inception by Clive Barker took place in some surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, mundane spots. Think American and European fetish clubs. But that wasn't all the inspiration. His design also draws from African mythology, particularly the Nkondi fetish dolls, known for their nail-studded bodies. Interestingly, Pinhead wasn't always Pinhead. In the first Hellraiser film, he was simply the lead Cenobite. It wasn't until Hell on Earth, the third movie, that Joey Summerskill christened him Pinhead, a name that stuck despite its late arrival. Shakespeare might have questioned the importance of a name, but in Pinhead's case, it encapsulates his terrifying essence perfectly. Pinhead's screen time in the films was usually brief yet impactful, clocking in around 10 to 15 minutes. But he took center stage in Hellraiser Judgment, where he defied God by manipulating the death of a serial killer, Sean. This act of rebellion didn't sit well with the Almighty, who punished Pinhead by stripping him of his powers and condemning him to live as a mere mortal. A fitting twist for someone who reveled in immortality and sadomasochism. The timeline of Pinhead's existence gets intriguing, especially when you consider Hellraiser 4 Bloodline, set in the year 2127. Here, he meets his end with the activation of the Elysium configuration, a device that eradicates the Cenobites, including Pinhead. This raises questions about the continuity between this film and the events of the 10th installment. Pinhead's backstory is as rich as it is dark. Before becoming the demonic entity, he was Captain Elliot Spencer, a man of compassion and empathy. The brutalities of World War I, particularly the Battle of Flanders, shattered his faith in humanity. His subsequent descent into hedonism led him to the Lament configuration in British India, transforming him into Leviathan's favored servant, a master of both pain and pleasure. As a Cenobite of the Order of the Gash, Pinhead's terrifying powers are symbolized by the pins in his head, believed to be placed by Leviathan himself. His character is unique in the franchise, appearing in all 10 films, portrayed mostly by Doug Bradley, with Stephen Smith Collins and Paul T. Taylor taking on the role in the later movies.
They just kept calling him like, we need Pinhead. Clatters!
Chatterer's backstory is one of the darker and grimmer ones when you compare it to other Cenobites, who usually
Hell
met
yeah.
their fate because they were inherently evil or obsessed with pleasure. Chatterer was born as Jim to an abusive father who eventually killed the wife, after which young Jim was sent to an
I do
orphan.
remember that. Whenever it was in the second movie when they kill all of the Cenobites, that gave me also another thing. Whenever they killed Chatters, he turned into a child.
Orphanages aren't usually a happy place, but Jim's was worse. He and his mates were taught that they were nothing more than society's scum, and that no one really cared about them. It wasn't before long that Jim developed a sexual relationship with another kid named Seth. But the closeness he received from Seth made him want more of the same, so he started praying to the god of love, seeking eternal affection and love. And yes, his prayers did kinda get answered, but they spelled doom for him. When Jim turned 16, he got involved in the flesh trade, where his clients would appreciate just how beautiful he was. But he didn't want their unyielding attention. One day, a client bizarrely asked him about his deepest desire. After some hesitation, Jim said he wished he was ugly, seeking escape from the constant attention his beauty brought. The client handed him a lament configuration, tasking him to distribute it as a servant of the god of pain and desire. Unbeknownst to Jim, this god was Leviathan. As he unknowingly served this dark deity, fate led him to a blind Seth. Their reunion didn't go as the Cenobites planned, with Seth leaving without opening the configuration. Curiosity got the better of Jim, and he opened it himself, turning into Chatterer, a Cenobite of horrifying appearance. He'd go on to become Pinhead's enforcer. In the 1987 Hellraiser film, Chatterer's debut was memorable for his severely burned face, with only his mouth, horrifically held open by hooks, spared. The sequel toned down his burns, revealing more of his facial details. Regardless of his look, Chatterer's legacy is defined by the chattering sound of his teeth and his fearsome demeanor. He's unforgettable, especially in a scene where he aggressively restrains Kirsty, only releasing her at Pinhead's command, which shows his loyalty. Chatterer meets his end in the second film, killed by the Channard Cenobite while heroically saving Kirsty on the female Cenobite's orders. But that wasn't the end of his story, as later films introduced Chatterer Beast, continuing the legacy of this iconic Cenobite.
Yep. The Chatterer Beast was kind of funny. Pico Pervo!
Butterball. Laszlo's journey to becoming a Cenobite is a classic tale of excess leading to ruin. In his human life, he was the epitome of overindulgence, constantly chasing after more food and pleasure than he could handle. His gluttony and pursuit of sinful delights were his downfall. When he stumbled upon the lament configuration, he was captivated, thinking it was a ticket to fulfilling all his desires. However, solving the puzzle of the box turned his world upside down, inflicting immense pain and transforming him into a Cenobite, a member of Pinhead's notorious gash. Butterball's stint in the Hellraiser saga is as ghastly as it gets. This hefty Cenobite with his unsettling appearance first steps into the scenes alongside Pinhead, Female, and Chatterer. A year later, Butterball reappears when Dr. Channard, driven by a hunger for knowledge, gets Tiffany to open the box. The Cenobites descend on the Mental Health Institute, reuniting with Kirsty. They lay down Hell's rules and send her off to navigate the labyrinth. Butterball's last stand comes when they try to turn Kirsty into one of their own, but her reminder of their human pasts stirs something in them. They end up defending Kirsty and Tiffany from the newly transformed Dr. Cenobite. Unfortunately for Butterball, he meets his end from a spear shot by the Doctor. As for Butterball's look, he's morbidly obese, with sunglasses embedded into his skin and eyes sewn shut. His stomach, grotesquely sliced open, is held by hooks. Dressed in black leather, like all Cenobites, his facial skin is disturbingly stretched, and his teeth appear unnervingly sharp, a detail particularly noticeable in Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. While he hasn't been seen since, his status as a high priest of hell means Butterball could always make a horrifying comeback.
They should have kept him. Angelique. That's a funny one.
Angelique. Angelique is basically a sinister blend of some good old-fashioned dark magic and diabolical transformation. Originally the demon princess of Hell and Leviathan's daughter, her journey began when Duke Delisle, an occultist, performed a dark ritual. He sacrificed a young woman and used the lament configuration to bridge Earth and Hell, summoning Angelique into the woman's barely damaged skin. After killing Delisle with Jacques, she becomes entangled in a power struggle, eventually murdering Jacques for resisting her plan to investigate Le Marchand's hair in New York. Arriving in New York, she discovers John Merchant's building, a potential super gateway to hell. Years later, driven by her vendetta against the Le Marchand bloodline for attempting to counter the horrors unleashed by the lament configuration, Angelique calls upon Pinhead for assistance. But she soon realizes hell has changed. Pinhead turns Angelique into a Cenobite, binding her to his gash. Together, they go on a mission to halt the Le Marchand bloodline. a quest that ultimately proves futile as Paul Merchant, a descendant, manages to build the Elysium configuration, destroying Angelique and her Cenobite comrades. In the future, we see Angelique, still trapped in her human form, re-emerge as a Cenobite after Paul Merchant releases her and her fellow Hell denizens. However, Merchant's invention, the Elysium configuration, becomes their undoing as it seals off the gateway to Hell, effectively ending their reign of terror. Angelique's Cenobite appearance is pretty fascinating and rightly chilling. She's bald, with her scalp bisected and pulled down by cables into her shoulders. Hooks dig into her chest and stomach. Her attire is a bit different from what Cenobites usually wear. She wears a revealing, sexualized leather dress that exposes her midriff and thighs, paired with elbow-length leather gloves.
Oh, sexy.
Not leaving us so soon, are you?
Larynx lady.
Female
Really good
Cenobite,
one.
aka Deep Throat. Once a nun,
Deep
consumed
Throat?
by thoughts of sin and desire, she met a man who sensed her inner turmoil. He gifted her the Lament configuration. Opening the box, she summoned Grillard, a Cenobite, who whisked her away to Hell, where she indulged in her darkest fantasies of pain and pleasure. In Hell's twisted realm, she transformed and became the Cenobite known as Fallen. In her new life as a Cenobite, Nicoletta, now Fallen, found herself paired with Pinhead, Hell's favored servant. She was transformed into a being that radiated ghastliness, her head shaved, her nose pierced with a pin, and her throat pulled back by wires, giving her a raspy voice. Her appearance evolved over time. Initially, she had sunken features and a dark grey-blue skin tone, but later, her look softened, appearing more human. She made her cinematic debut in 1987's Hellraiser, portrayed by Grace Kirby. The sequel, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, saw Barbie Wilde take up the role, giving her more screen time and a more humanized appearance. In the movie, she sided with Kirsty Cotton against the Channard Cenobite, and ultimately sacrificed herself in the process. In the following years, her legacy continued, notably in a 1990 incident where she and Pinhead guided an artist, Davis Feldwebel, into creating macabre art, only to turn him into a painting themselves. Her story intertwined with the ongoing saga of the Lament configuration, the gateway to Hell,
I didn't see
the
that
bloodline
one.
of its creator, Le Marchand. Ultimately, her fate, like her fellow Cenobites, was sealed when Paul Merchant activated the Elysium configuration in 2127, closing the gateway to Hell and ending their reign of terror.
Dr. Channard.
The doctor.
Dr. Channard. Dr. Channard's journey into the dark abyss of violence and mutilation began with a childhood fascination for dissecting animals, and it went on to define his future. He climbed the ranks to become a renowned neurologist and co-founder of the Channard Institute, a haven for the mentally unstable. Yet, ironically, it was his own mind that brandished the deepest scars. His life became a relentless pursuit of the mysteries of Hell, fed by an obsession with the puzzle boxes. Tiffany, a silent, puzzle-solving prodigy, caught Channard's eye and became an unwitting pawn in his macabre game. The arrival of Kirsty Cotton with the Lament configuration, the very box he sought, seemed to be the final piece in his diabolical plan. Using his knowledge, Channard manipulated events to resurrect Julia Cotton, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead him to the labyrinth and into Leviathan's clutches. Upon coming out of the creation chamber, he was altered further by Leviathan, and he became a monstrous extension of Hell itself. His pursuit of Tiffany and Kirsty, however, was thwarted by Pinhead and his Gash, who chose to defy Hell to protect the girls. Channard, now a formidable Cenobite, easily killed Pinhead's group but ultimately met his own death at the hands of Leviathan. In his human form, Channard was the epitome of a 1930s 40s surgeon, composed, analytical, and often seen with a cigarette or a glass of neat whiskey. As a demon of Hell, he dressed in typical Cenobite leather, his blue skin peeking through circular cutouts in his outfit. His head was bound by wires, and an appendage from Leviathan connected to his skull, which resembled the surgical drills he once used. With the ability to unleash tentacles armed with blades and other eerie objects, Channard's Cenobite traveled a great path from a curious surgeon
Such a weird
to a minion
Cenobite setup.
of Hell.
Oh yeah, the two stripper ladies.
Wire Twins. The Wire Twins, Leviathan's crazy sister demons of delight, are a textbook example of what Cenobites represent: twisted pleasures. Originally human twins, their encounter with the labyrinth led to their eternal servitude in Hell's domain, where they now revel in the sinister
really
dance
like
of
the
pain
idea
and
of
pleasure.
twins.
True to their name, they're fixed with thin, sharp wires. Their Cenobite attire is scanty, with their abdomens held open by these wires. Baldness adds to their eerie aura, and instead of hair, they have wires that sprout from their scalps. Their eyes are slit open in a perpetual gaze of torment, but it's not just their looks that evoke fear and fascination. The Wire Twins' tongues are long, black, and snake-like, tools of both pleasure and pain. They use these tongues in ways that blur the lines between ecstasy and agony, engaging in acts like fellatio, cunnilingus, and analingus. Even their
Oh,
chins
no.
are bound to the collars of their bras by wires. Each twin bears a unique symbol carved into their skin. One sports a sickle with 2 dots, while the other symbol is a larger sickle intersected by a line. In demeanor, the Wire twins embody the essence of the Cenobite sadomasochistic ethos, with a heightened focus on the carnal aspects of
They
pain
fingered
and
this
pleasure.
guy underneath
Their
his
libidinous
chest, which
nature
was really
sets them
funny.
apart, even among their fellow Cenobites.
Hell on Earth, Cenobites. Those were clowns.
Pseudo-Cenobites. The Pseudo-Cenobites from Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth are a
Yeah.
unique breed, created by Pinhead on Earth rather than in the depths of hell, which is why they're not true Cenobites and are called Pseudo-Cenobites. Here's the rundown on these earthly-made horrors.
Oh yeah, we didn't see the smoker lady. Oh, and the other guy was the machine. Oh, I remember.
In the movie, Pinhead splits into 2 entities, of which one gets trapped in the Pillar of Souls. The pillar later ends up in J.P. Monroe's Boiler Room Club and becomes the catalyst for the transformation of several characters into Cenobites, including bartender Richard Bloodstone. Pinhead, on a rampage, wraps Richard's head in barbed wire, blinding him. As Barbie, he wields a fiery breath and Molotov cocktails, but his appearance in the franchise ends with the 3rd film.
Yep. Same with this guy.
Have you seen what he did to me, you little...
Camerahead. So, Camerahead was this guy who originally worked as a cameraman for Joey, the lead character in the 3rd Hellraiser film. Joey, a local news reporter, was digging into some pretty eerie stuff happening at the Boiler Room Club. She asks Camerahead to meet her there. He gets there first and ends up being transformed into a Cenobite by Pinhead. Later, we find that Joey is on the run with the Lament configuration, and Pinhead sends Camerahead and others after her. The cool and creepy part about Camerahead is that he's got a camera jammed into his right eye and a film roll where his ear should be. Anything he films can be blown up with his mind. Plus, his camera can transform into a weapon to slash and impale victims. Interestingly,
It's
Cenobites
also-
usually
yeah.
lose their past memories after their transformation, but
But this guy
Cenobites
retained it.
like Camerahead seem to
Yeah.
keep theirs.
This fucking guy, bro. This guy threw discs
CD
around.
head. Jimmy Hammerstein was the unlucky DJ at the Boiler Room Club. Before his gruesome transformation, Jimmy seemed like a decent guy. We get a glimpse of his polite demeanor in a brief chat with Joey about Terry, Monroe's ex-girlfriend. But then Pinhead shows up and, well, things go south for Jimmy. Pinhead, being the creative demon he is, decides to impale Jimmy's skull with 5 CDs, turning him into a walking horror show, albeit a musical one. Pinhead places these CDs, one in each of Jimmy's eyes and one in his mouth. The result is that Jimmy is now left blind and mute. CD Head uses them like shurikens, throwing them to impale his victims. In the movie, Jimmy's human form and his
Shurikens.
Cenobite form are played by different actors. Brent Bolthouse plays the human
wonder
Jimmy,
why.
while Eric Wilhelm takes on the role of the Cenobite CD Head.
Oh yeah, Gearhead.
Dreamer. She started as Terry, a down-on-her-luck girl who hung
Yeah,
out at
the
the Boiler
Dreamer.
Room Club. Terry's life was tough, often being taken advantage of, which
Fucking
fueled her
Terry,
desire
bro.
for power and control. She found herself making a deal with Pinhead, leading her down a dark path. Terry's transformation into a pseudo-Cenobite gave her a twisted kind of freedom. She could dream endlessly, experiencing everything she couldn't have in real life. This was her twisted version of heaven and hell rolled into one. Pinhead once said that Cenobites are angels to some and demons to others, and Terry's story really embodies that idea. Unlike most Cenobites, Terry is the dreamer Cenobite, could remember her past and even talk more than the others. Her love story with Monroe is actually what led to her tragic fate, both as a human and a Cenobite. They were apparently in love, but when push came to shove, they turned against each other. It's a stark contrast to other Cenobite couples like Pinhead and Makova or Alastor and Chalkis. In the film's climax, Terry manages to open the Lament configuration, which sends all the pseudo-Cenobites, including herself, back to hell. Pistonhead.
Oh.
So, as I've already
Pistonhead.
established, Monroe was this guy who made a shady deal
he
with
appeared
Pinhead.
for like 2
Pinhead
seconds.
was trapped in a pillar and needed to off some people to break free. Monroe was like, "Sure, I'll help," and started feeding Pinhead unsuspecting victims from his club. But when it was time for the final kill, Monroe decided to throw Terry under the bus. Big mistake. She fought back, overpowered Monroe, and struck her own deal with Pinhead. The deal Terry offered was, "Take Monroe, not me." And Pinhead was like, "Okay, deal." That's how Monroe became Pistonhead. Pinhead, living up to his name, jammed 2 pistons into Monroe's skull, hence the name, Pistonhead. In every
Incredible.
scene Pistonhead is in, these pistons are constantly moving. It's pretty gross to watch, honestly. Monroe's
Really
story is a
is.
classic case of betrayal, backfiring big time.
Oh yeah, the twins.
Siamese twins. Mark and Michael Bradley were two brothers who got way more than they bargained for. They were gearing up to be security guards working for John Merchant, a descendant of Le Marchand. The night before the big opening of the building they were protecting, they heard some noises and decided to investigate. They stumble upon a private chit-chat between the Cenobites, Angelique and Pinhead. Pinhead, being Pinhead, senses that these brothers were always scared of being apart. So, what does he do? He goes full Pinhead and fuses their bodies together, then sends them off to hell for some extra tweaking by the engineer. In 2127, in space, they show up again. This time, Dr. Paul Merchant accidentally sets them free, along with Angelique, Chatterer Beast, and Pinhead. Here, the twins absorb Captain Edwards into their conjoined bodies. In the end, though, they, along with the other Cenobites, meet their death. Dr. Merchant tricks them and activates the Elysium configuration. And just like that, the Siamese twins, along with Pinhead and Angelique, are history, and the door to hell gets slammed shut.
Okay, we're going into Half-Brothers.
Torso. Torso is definitely one of the most dramatically transformed characters in the Hellraiser movies. Created by the Chatterer, Torso is like a tribute to him. After the Chatterer's supposed downfall, Torso's been roaming the labyrinth, looking for his maker. He's part of Pinhead's crew, known as Pinhead's Gash, and they've got a particularly nasty gig torturing this soul named Joseph Thorne, stuck in a kind of no-man's land between Earth and Hell. Torso is basically a living homage to the Chatterer. You can barely see any of his facial features except for his mouth, which is stretched wide open with hooked chains. He's got these tiny squinty eyes, but they're mostly hidden. His face is twisted and mutilated, kind of resembling the Chatterer's burn scars. True to his name, Torso's missing everything below the waist. Just a section of his spine sticks out where the lower half used to be.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Oh, the dog.
Chatterer Beast. The Chatterer Beast is a monstrous hound, but made entirely out of human flesh.
Was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's as gnarly as it sounds. This beast is fashioned in the likeness of the Chatterer Cenobite and is the first among several Chatterer-inspired creatures. So, the Chatterer Beast is basically Pinhead's pet in the movie. Interestingly, it's been made from the flesh of those who have been tortured. There's this one scene where Pinhead feeds it a live pigeon, which is strange because Cenobites are known not to hurt innocents. Later, it stalks the wife of John Merchant. Once again, the Chatterer Beast also meets its end through the Elysium configuration.
Obviously.
In the end, John Merchant blows up the Elysium configuration, and with it, the Chatterer Beast is taken out, closing the door to hell in the process. Definitely a wild ride for a pet made of human flesh.
You'd never guess.
Surgeon. Deacon Vranian from Hellraiser Hellseeker was this top-notch surgeon, famous and respected. But things took a tragic turn when he accidentally killed his wife during surgery. That event shattered everything for him. His reputation, his sanity, the works. After his wife's death, Deacon was desperate to block out the world. His answer came in the form of the Lament configuration. He solved it, and naturally, Pinhead shows up, offering him a way to forget his pain. Deacon jumps at the offer with no second thoughts. In Hellraiser Hellseeker, Deacon pops up in a nightmare of Kirsty's husband Trevor, doing what he does best, operating, but this time on Trevor himself. As for his Cenobite days, Deacon, now known as the Surgeon, was part of the gang when Kirsty opened the Lament configuration for the third time and walked into hell. She strikes a deal with Pinhead. 5 souls.
Okay, that's why I don't remember it, because it
Pinhead's
literally is
game
the only
and
time
the
he
Surgeon,
appears.
alongside other Cenobites like
scene.
Bound, Stitch, and Chatterer 3, wait for Kirsty to deliver. The Surgeon and Bound get the first task. They go after one of Trevor's affairs and smother her with saran wrap. Trevor later sees this for himself after he's dead and stuck in limbo, his eternal punishment for crossing the order. Pseudo-Pinhead. Pseudo-Pinhead's story started when he was Stephen Craven, just a regular dude until a trip to Mexico led him to open the Lament configuration. After opening the box, Stephen's life takes a turn for the worse. He gets tortured and then, to add insult to injury, is transformed into a Cenobite. That's how Pseudo-Pinhead comes into the picture. Essentially, he's a raw, less polished version of the infamous Pinhead, more like an unintentional parody. In reality, his skin is held together by nails. Pseudo-Pinhead was actually created to help capture Nico Bradley, Steve's former friend. Turns out, Nico had also managed to escape hell, pulling a Frank Cotton move. So, Stephen, now Pseudo-Pinhead, gets the task of bringing his old buddy back to where he belongs, in hell.
Hey. And then there's this thing. That's why I thought that it was like a...
is something else entirely. Believed to have been human innumerable years ago, he could be one of the first to accidentally open Hell's gates. In 1991, a woman named Glenda cracks open the Heart of Damnation puzzle And who shows up? The engineer, along with a crew of Cenobites including Saucy Jack, Bright Eyes, The Voice, and Butterball. When Glenda's colleague Hank tries to get rid of them by stabbing the puzzle, it just ticks off Saucy Jack. The outcome is not great for Glenda and Hank. In the overall Hellraiser timeline, Kirsty opens the lament configuration, which leads her to the labyrinth. She hears a baby crying, follows the sound, and boom! She's face to face with the engineer. This thing chases her through the labyrinth, but Kirsty's quick. She solves the box again, closing the labyrinth and bringing in Pinhead's gash. Later, after Kirsty deals with Frank and sends Pinhead and his crew back to hell, the engineer pops out of a closet for a final showdown over the box. Once again, Kirsty wins, solving the box and sending the engineer back to hell in a blaze. In Clive Barker's original vision, the engineer is described with a head like a cone of white fire. This creature also crafted the Cenobites' torture devices. Appearance-wise, the engineer is a mix of scales and human skin with amber cat-like eyes, a scorpion-like tail, and a mouthful of teeth. It moves upside down, hanging from its back feet on the labyrinth's walls. Its limbs end in hand-like appendages, and it might even have bladed tentacles, though that part's a bit unclear.
Okay. So just to pause real quick, so it was confirmed that it is hell. Okay, so that's my perception of the whole thing being a little bit altered. Completely understandable, that makes sense. We need more of the fucking world they live in, if you ask me. Oh, that's the new ones.
Before becoming a Cenobite, it's hinted that she might have had a rough life or dark desires. Eventually, she stumbles upon the configuration box, solves it, only to be tortured, mutilated, and turned into a Cenobite under Pinhead's command. In Hellraiser, the gasp pops up when Riley McKendry narrowly escapes being marked by the box's blade. Pinhead tells Riley to find another soul in exchange for her life. We meet Serena Menaker, who accidentally opens the box and pierces herself. When she meets the Gasp and the gang, pleading for mercy, the Gasp sticks a needle down Serena's throat, saying, "Save your breath for screaming." Of course, Serena's fate was sealed. Later, when Riley refuses to give Pinhead more souls, the Gasp joins the Cenobites in going after Riley and her friends. They end up at Roland Voigt's mansion,
so
where the Gasp taunts Riley about her brother Matt, whom Pinhead had released. The Gasp's personality is classic Cenobite, vile, sadistic, and all about torture. While Pinhead is more of an intellectual type, the Gasp is a straight-up perverted sadist, relishing in causing and experiencing pain. As far as her powers are concerned, she's immune to pain, thanks to the endless torture she once suffered. But she's not invincible. She can be harmed by the blades from the configuration box and certain objects from the labyrinth. The Asphyx. The Asphyx from the latest Hellraiser movie is a seriously gruesome Cenobite, at least as far as her appearance is concerned. The Cenobite's own skin, flayed and stripped away, is then used to smother its face. This skin is held in place, gruesomely pinned along nerves and muscles, making for a pretty horrific sight. With its chest exposed and heaving, the Asphyx is in a constant struggle to breathe, trapped by its own disfigured skin. Initially, the Asphyx is bound up with wires that force its hands into a prayer-like position. This setup is attached to both its front and back. In classic Cenobite fashion, it's mostly skinless. Despite its terrifying look, the Asphyx starts off pretty calm, almost giving off a vibe of some twisted religious ceremony. But once its hands are released from their bound state, the real threat of the Asphyx becomes glaringly apparent. The mask. The mask is a nod to one of the most iconic deaths in the original movie. Remember Frank's "Jesus wept" scene? This Cenobite's face is stretched and twisted over a surgical wire wrapped around its head. The mask's skin is pale, really cool, almost white, dissected and displayed like something you'd see in a medical textbook. It's got these two strips of skin on its chest, each inscribed with text that echoes the ancient religious themes you find all over the Hellraiser series. And then there are the wires and pins which help in holding most of its body together. The design is reminiscent of old-school surgical illustrations.
It was really, really good. I really liked it.
Stitch. She's summoned along with Pinhead and other Cenobites when Kirsty opens the lament configuration for the second time. Kirsty's husband Trevor was plotting to swipe her inheritance from Frank and Larry Cotton, and he gifts her the box as part of his scheme. But before Stitch and the gang could really dive into tormenting Kirsty, she strikes a deal with Pinhead. Stitch has a pretty horrific way of making her presence felt. At one point, she enters Trevor's limbo as one of his mistresses. As they kiss, she reveals her proper form and straps a metal mask to his mouth, driving a screw right through his head. Stitch makes another appearance in Hellraiser Deader, where she's evolved. Her deformities have lessened, and she's alongside Pinhead and others, dealing with the Deaders and their leader, Winter. Despite their efforts, the bloodline hasn't ended. When Amy, the only survivor, kills herself, Pinhead's plan fails, and Stitch, along with the rest of Pinhead's gash, disappears as the lament configuration explodes, sending them all back to hell. Stitch's fate remains uncertain, though. As for her look, Stitch is a sight to behold, or maybe not so much. She's got pale white skin, her face burned and peeled off her skull, then stapled back in reverse. Her eyes and mouth are sewn shut, making her blind, deaf, and mute. Her belt, holding bloody knives, is made from her own intestines, and she wears a slightly more revealing version of the classic leather Cenobite suit.
But just like...
Little sister. Back when she was human, she had it all. Beauty, brains, and everything she could want. But there was still something missing, a kind of obsession she couldn't shake off. Her search for whatever was lacking led her to the Lament configuration. The moment she found it, she knew it was the missing piece in her life. As a Cenobite, little sister was a newbie, but she quickly caught Leviathan's eye. She had this mix of sexuality and a sort of degraded vibe that made her perfect for luring souls to Leviathan. Her big moment came when Amy Klein opened the box. Little sister and the rest of Pinhead's crew were all over it, especially since Amy was mixed up with the Deaders, a group messing with the natural order of things. Plus, their leader, Winter, was from the Le Marchand bloodline, which was a bonus for them. Little sister first appeared to Amy as a hallucination on a train, sitting among the bodies of dead Deaders. But after Amy called the Cenobites, leading to the end of Winter and the remaining Deaders, little sister and the gang started to close in on Amy. However, Amy's suicide meant a failed mission for the Cenobites, sending them all back to hell. Little sister, along with Stitch, Bound, and Spike, weren't seen or heard from again, leaving her fate up in the air. Little sister is something out of a nightmare. She's got 10 wires slicing down her face, 5 on each side, cutting into her flesh and eyelids, blinding her. These wires connect to a metal bar where her nose should be. Her head is marked with crescent-shaped cuts, and she's missing her nose and ears.
Clappers.
Female Cenobite 2, Chatterer 4. Chatterer 4, along with Pinhead and Pseudo-Pinhead, brought back Nico Bradley after his escape from Hell. Her last known action was assisting in taking Sarah Craven to Hell, and what happened to her after that is a mystery. As for her look, Chatterer 4 is a unique spin on the original Chatterer design. She's the 4th iteration after Chatterer 2, Chatterer 3, and Torso. Leviathan, a big fan of the Chatterer style, ensured that this design lived on in later Cenobites. Chatterer 4's face is quite similar to Chatterer 3, but she's got what looks like hair made of wires, a design element earlier seen in the case of the Wire Twins. On the sides of her head, you'll find various tattoos, though their significance remains a puzzle. Her outfit is classic Cenobite, leather with some metal elements, all stitched together in a kind of haphazard fashion.
Take me like you took them. Like you took my brother.
Oh yeah,
The Weeper is one of the most unique Cenobites in the new wave of Cenobites from the latest Hellraiser movie. She's got this deep blue skin and massive black eyes that are always dripping with black tears, giving her an almost alien look. Yet, it's her continuous sobbing that adds a chilling yet human touch to her otherwise inhuman look. Her body is a canvas of horror. Ribbons of her own flesh have been peeled away and wound onto spools that are gruesomely attached to her skin. To add to this, part of her lower lip and chin are missing, revealing the raw flesh underneath. The Weeper's abilities are just as unsettling. She can split her arms open, revealing a second pair of arms held together by surgical pins. It's no exaggeration to say that the Weeper is one of the most disturbing and visually horrific additions to the Cenobite ranks, especially under the leadership of the new Pinhead.
The new Pinhead also looked really good. I actually quite like that direction. I do miss the big guy though.
Her past is a bit of a mystery, though rumors suggest she was married to a homicidal maniac. As a Cenobite, Bound's role in Pinhead's gash was relatively minor but significant. She was part of the crew when Kirsty made that deal with Pinhead to trade 5 souls instead of her own. Bound played her part in reaping these souls, including Kirsty's unfaithful husband, Trevor. Appearance-wise, she's got these tight leather straps covering her eyes and mouth, blinding and choking her. Metal wires wrap around her head, slicing open her skin and securing the straps. On top of her head is a nail crown that stretches open her scalp.
Yeah, that's...
Bound 2. Now, Bound 2 is the male counterpart of Bound. He's seen in the traditional black leather costume similar to Pinhead's. He first shows up when Amy Klein is about to give in to Winter and the Deaders. Amy solves the Lament configuration instead, summoning Bound 2, Pinhead, and others. When Amy refuses to surrender her soul and kills herself, the Lament configuration explodes, sending Bound 2 and the rest back to hell. He appears as a hallucination to a group of Hellraiser fans who were drugged at a themed party. In these visions, Bound 2 is part of the terrifying experiences the partygoers endure. The story takes another twist when Adam's father, seeking revenge for his son's death, gets involved with the Lament configuration. He summons Pinhead, Chatterer 3, and Bound 2. Pinhead reveals that the host should have been his target long ago, and orders Bound 2 and Chatterer 3 to use their pendulum-like weapons on him. The Mother. The Mother is an intriguing, but once again, a disturbing addition. We only get a brief look at her, but she's set up to be a memorable Cenobite in future movies, hopefully outshining some of the past sequels. Her design is pretty darn unsettling, with her body dissected in a way that emphasizes a grotesque pregnancy. The way she cradles her stomach reminds us of the crying baby from Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, which is essentially a play on the twisted maternal theme. The Mother's look is enhanced by the classic Hellraiser blue-tinged lighting. When this lighting hits a headscarf, it evokes imagery of Mary, which merges maternal and religious themes. Interestingly, an illustration
really
of the
good.
Mother is also spotted
The
on the
latest
wall
one,
in
the
Voight's
designs
office,
of the
alongside
Cenobites
images
all
of the
were
Gasp
really
and
good.
the Weeper, further
So
hinting at her importance and future role in the Hellraiser lore.
The blade would have taken them!
Doesn't matter. The Cenobites will come, just like I
Roland Voight. Voight's transformation into a Cenobite is quite a story. He's unique because we actually know his human backstory, something rare for Cenobites, especially since Doug Bradley's Pinhead backstory isn't considered canon anymore. Voight's journey to Cenobitehood starts when he opens the Lament configuration. He's then offered the power of the Cenobites, but not without a price. Voight endures severe torture until he becomes a new Cenobite. His mouth gets ripped open and peeled back, exposing his teeth in a chatterer-like fashion, while the rest of his flesh is sliced and pinned back. The reveal of Voight's transformation teases the possibility of a sequel, but also plays heavily into the movie's pseudo-Christian themes. This scene is intense, with Voight's mutilation set against a backdrop of angelic choral music and enveloped in bright white light.
That transformation, by the way, was absolutely bonkers.
Marvelous verdict, the Hellraiser series has done a stellar job of growing its lore and legacy, all while staying true to the vibe of the original. The new Cenobites are a cool mix of homage to the franchise's earlier demons and a nod to a more medical, anatomical aesthetic. What's really impressive is how these new characters bring back the unique blend of horror and beauty seen in the original Cenobites. Despite their gruesome deformities, there's this sense of elegance and artistry about them that's just quintessentially Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's just me. What do you think? And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't.
Okay, yeah, that was a good video. Make sure you watch the video, you guys. This is by Marvelous Videos again. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. I got into a bit of a binge when it comes to Hellraiser, and I've just been going over it for a while now. And it's just the aesthetics are just really sorry. Dry throat. But yeah, the aesthetics were just like really what got me into the whole thing. And it's just been like an entertaining fucking visual to it. Really sad that we didn't have like really good sequels after the first trilogy, and then we just kind of had to wait 10 years plus. Actually, no, it's even more. It's just that they kind of came back to them in the 90s, and then a whole bunch of slop between then and 2011. Actually, he didn't even refer to the actually, no, he did. I'm just misremembering. But yeah, probably gonna rewatch the last movie again, because the visuals of the Cenobites were also really good for that one. So yeah, that's my bad on going off on this tangent. I just spent the last couple of days hyperfixating on this. I will be cleared out of it in less than 2 more days. It's just that I kind of need to talk to somebody about it. Yeah, might as well share a little bit of the obsession in a very compressed variant to my friends. Oh man, what should we do? Actually, let's go into Tavern Keeper real quick, so we can... Jesus Christ. Yes, we just watched like a couple of horror things. Yeah, never mind. And we're going straight into that. Are we still in Tavern Keeper? 1 sec. This might not be refreshed. Okay, yeah, there we go. 1 sec. Okay. Let's see what we have left in Gugamosh. As soon as the... Come on. There we go. Okay. We're going back to the dirty hole. Labeling cliches is classic. Jeez. Okay. So we did all of the assignments. For a sec. What's happening? There's a gift somewhere. Oh, there we go. 5-bar counter version 3. Neat. What's happening? Can't find more Selene. It's because I haven't made any. Enough slab shelf grub in store. Uh-oh. Do we not? Yeah, we have 3, but those are for grilled skewers as well. Jesus, okay. Jumping straight back into this bad boy. Express delivery of slab shell grub takes me 3 hours. It's not gonna arrive on time. Give me one more storm tail sprout. I don't want to lose the stew as well. The inbred. It's supposed to have one more, and I don't know how to change it. Don't worry about it. These guys want... Oh, these are drinkers. Okay. Do we have... No, we don't. Increased accommodation need. Buddy, I don't have space for more accommodations. Except if I don't convert this into, Oh, let them put... Okay. I think that might be it, actually. To tavern assistant. Oh, wait. To tavern assistant. Assistant brought barrels. Great work. I include big bonus for good work. I'm glad you not use them experiment on your patrons. Fuel customer once, shame on you for fuel customer 2 times. That shame too, big waste of fuel. You're so lucky we're friends now. I not totally smart, I very funny. 0. Cool. 3 condos.
With that fuel in Vera's hands, events are sure to accelerate. It would be wise to get the tavern running smoothly before the next spanner in the works.
There's more to this event. Incredible. Okay. What's happening? Taking order. Why is this guy losing patience? God damn, I need more. Okay. How many daytime servers do we have? 4. Somehow not enough. I'm not gonna lie, having this huge like hole in the middle of the space really messed me up. And I have the odd feeling that the bar being on that side could have been... No. No, it's just that I might actually get another bar counter here. Yeah, it does mess up my pathing a lot. I guess I just need one more bar counter. Can we make that happen? Make it fancy. Man, these ones are free. Is that gonna mess up with certain seatings? Kind of, but not necessarily because we're not gonna have it here. We'll have it here. Come on. That seems alright. Let me guess, that was a 3-starer. Yep. Yeah. Not gonna lie, it doesn't seem like it fixed anything. What is she doing? Waiting their turn for serving a patron. Do these guys just all drink Sand Scorcher? Jesus. I mean, that kind of messes me up, doesn't it? Because then everybody goes for the Nomad's Nectar. Let's leave it at like that much. It's kind of dumb. I guess we can amp up the Lost Oasis a little bit, I guess. Put it at 20 gold. Imperial Red. Nah, we need Sans. That one. We need to basically divulge them well enough. But holy shit. So do they all just... Are they all looking for the same alcohol? I don't know. Shit's weird. Temp-wise we're nice and cool because that should stop any second. Well illuminated. Place is kinda dirty. Decoration is top notch, especially where the patrons are, which is always good. That's wonderful. Everything is insanely flammable, but we don't worry about that. Hothead running out of patience. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bullshit. Okay, we'll worry about that in a second. Man, you're involving a lot of guests. Luckily the night shift is gonna be nice and calm. You guys gonna... There's a bar fight and they still go like 84% satisfaction rate. I don't really care. And guess what? They just ruined a bunch of decoration and a rug. As well as the water fountain, which is not exactly the end of the world, if you ask me. Although the decor needs to be repaired. I think I should have at least one active dog body at the time. Of course, it's Higdon. Come on, fellas, we need this bad boy repaired because this guy's decor value is reducing heavily. Come on. Takes that bitch for two. I'm not gonna lie, the 3-star are just nightmarish. You're not one of my workers? What the fuck are you waiting for? The throwing board? What's happening with that? Oh, it's not repaired. Fuck's sakes. Man, my dog bodies are fucking lazy. Hey. Let's organize entertainment. Looks like it's not gonna be that heavy of a day. So I think just going a little bit like this, and maybe polycarbonate for the sake of it at the end. A lot of broken items. We need more dog bodies. How are we on alcohol? Lost Oasis is a bit low. Sand Scorcher and Nomad's Nectar are really low. Nope. Where did I get Nomad's neck? Oh. The fuck's a rock biter? I don't think I've gotten one of these before. Give me 2 of them. Normal delivery will take 1.1 days. Take 1 more barrel of lost places as well. We're gonna have some upcoming fun times. They broke my damn chandelier. Actually, what are we using for illumination in the middle of? Is there a brazier there? Oh yeah, there is a brazier. Well, you know. I need quicker dog bodies. Cesar. Slow server. You're killing me here. We just gotta make do with what we have. Who's dog body on shift? Satisfy 50 group requests, nice. Okay, we start with the guys with the Morsellini. Stock delivered, that's wonderful. My poor dog bodies are having to haul a whole load of stuff. Would have been nice if the storage space was bigger. Problem is I can't really fit it in any other way where the kitchen is not going to be an absolute haphazard mess. And just having another larder shelf anywhere nearby is basically a nightmare. Unless I... that's not gonna happen. Oh, maybe I can... Maybe I can... No. Other side? Oh, maybe, yeah. Lord knows I need the space. And speaking of space... room again. Is there any way for us to... That should be fine. Do I have only 1 working dog's body in the night shift? No, Higdon is supposed to start working soon. 2. I'm really low on dog bodies. Oh, that's because Menegilda is basically taking care of stuff in the middle of the day. And the other ones are night shifters. You guys are assholes. Can't find them up anywhere. You're obviously holding a mop.
You check the temperature before building larders, right? Things spoil slower when they're kept cool. Mostly.
That's great and all, but my 1 larder is so stuffy that it can't fucking happen. Unless I put like a cooling module like right here. Oh, actually that might not be a bad idea. How big is the cooling fan? Because that place is a bit of a fire hazard as well. Let's sell one of the grills, because I already have 2 of them. It's fine. We'll just put this like here. And hopefully it cools off the area in there. Because it does... Yeah, it's not great. It's normal temperature, but we could basically reduce the heat around it. Problem is, you guys are fucking slow. took you the entire night just to shovel a bunch of food on larders, and you didn't even do all of it. I need more dog bodies. What's this? Start tavern accommodation, that's fine, easy. We are gonna need more entertainers. Probably. It's fine. Once Menegilda basically comes on shift, stuff is gonna be great. Letter from Vera. Assistant! Work on rocket starting. I hire plenty workers. This thing real big. Gonna take some time. I tell them to go to your tavern for eat and sleep. You do great hosting group of worker. They do great constructing rocket. It that easy. Well-rested worker have slightly fewer fatal accident. Good for timetable. Vera. Okay.
Gugamash is buzzing with anticipation to see what Vera is building. It will be a historic moment, and your assistance is key. The construction site is close enough for both Vera's workers and a chemical stench to drift over to the tavern. Smells like progress.
Okay. Goodness, taking care of the last one. Menegilda is just waiting for her turn to get dressed, I think. Probably should put more... yeah. More shift rowers. This is a bit of a backlog here happening. Why? Oh. Are we keeping them? Okay. That's fine. We can make this happen. It's too close to each other. They can't pass through. Luckily, I can just... just a little closer. I'm afraid it's gonna be... I need a better storeroom. Okay. At least somebody's... Why is it taking you ages? Oh, there we go. What's Menegilda doing in the meantime? Oh, wow. 83% of dirt. Holy, polishing in high tier stuff. Where is Menegilda at the moment? Oh, she's repairing Sunburst Drug. Excellent. You're literally the perfect person to do this because you're an absolute chat when it comes to that kind of stuff. Oh, they can repair it together. That's great. So, I think... How big is this thing? Can I... Actually, let me firstly check if this actually affects... It does. Okay. Because I don't necessarily need this here. If I can shift these around and they work just fine without any interceptions or interruptions with the other areas, which it seems to be the case, I will put the big one here. It does make more sense to actually have it there. That storage is probably gonna go into another set of rooms. Either that or I'm gonna split this into like an even smaller hallway and make this another room. I don't know, we'll see. What's happening? They're stuck. Why are you guys stuck? Okay. That's not great. Can we... Actually... Oh, the fountain. Okay, what? I'm causing congestion in my kitchen, which is not great. Right, let's grab the... I'm sure this is not gonna impact pathing. Okay. This chick is so slow. Oh. Well. Lunathor, Caesar. Really should not be hiring any. Silver Chef. Tempting. How are we looking? Temperature, fine. Brightness, good. Filth. Eh. Noise. Can't really detect that for some reason. Deco. Okay. Damage. None. Hell yeah. Flammability. Still pretty dang high. You know what? I think we deserve some better illumination in the house. We can also decongest the floor space a little bit and also place illumination in locations that we don't actually have illumination. Like such hallways as this one. Toilet, 2-star. Wonderful. House. Oh, they make noise when they do activities. That's interesting. House illumination? Could work with another light stand somewhere in this area. Okay, so we'll have this one here. And we'll get another one here. I hope this doesn't... Problem with temperature. Also, that's another thing. They don't really tell you, like... They don't really tell you when exactly these guys actually are not happy with the temperature. Not in a proper way, at least. Why are we not making more Selene? We don't have gaffer spuds. Because I got the delivery... Oh, yeah. We don't have gaffer spuds because gaffer spuds come specifically from Halflington. It's great. But it seems like we're not getting as congested as we used to be. It's probably because we have a lot of entertainers for today.
I'm glad you can give these groups a place to relax. They must be working hard for Vera.
Well, that also depends on how much bedding these guys need, because to be quite honest with you, I feel like I need to have another room set up. And I'm tempted to use this space problem is storage. I am at capacity. In a bad way. In a really, really bad way. So my other option is to basically just like... grab these, move them back here. Move this as close to the wall as possible, then get this as close to it as possible. Okay. Then we will basically cordon off some of this to add into... That is a level 2 staff room because of this one singular pipe stove. Into a larger staff room. Does this thing have 2 entrances? What the hell? Something weird's been happening here. Why does it skip the 10? Okay. And I was thinking... Oh. Yeah, actually normal speed, it should be fine. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues, except for the small fact that there's... Yeah, I'm aware of that. We don't have Traveler's Bread. We don't have stew. What do you mean we don't have stew? That requires Gaffer Spud as well. Uh-oh. Oh, we're also out of one drink. Uh-oh. I was not expecting this. Huh. Okay. So we're just out of Nomad's Nectar, which was basically my thing. My go-to thing. How close is Riverton? How quick is the delivery? Ooh. Do we have any better alternatives? No. Get me 3 barrels of Mudweiser. Disgusting. I am slightly worried as to what I'm going to do. These guys need a food, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. In the meantime, when this chaos is unfolding behind me, we will be grabbing staff room, putting it up until this area here, but we're going to extend it only this way. For the simple purpose of then grabbing this bed, moving it here, doesn't matter. Then move, yes, we will need to move that one as well, like so. The bed we can't move at the moment, at least. Okay. Can't move that because she's currently using it. Candle stand can move here. And we'll extend... once she's finished with that stupid table, we'll be able to move it easily. 77 atmosphere temperature. Alright, you're not supposed to be working at these hours. maybe like 7 a.m. 6, 7 a.m. I think that's reasonable. Can somebody prioritize this guy before it becomes an issue? Where are my bartenders? Taking care of it? Good. Why? Also the cleanliness? What's happening with the filth? Oh, you're just being pedantic. Oh, okay, side table, Stein shelf, nice. Somebody offer this guy a free drink real quick. Just to appease these clowns. Oh, and now there's 2 more people on the table. Great. Wow, that hallway is not decorated. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Wow, that's wonderful. Holy shit, these are big. These are big. Can we get something like nice and thin that we can spiral across the wall, like a large painting of something expensive? Like an opera orc. There we go. No, oh. Oh, we experienced our first game crash of Tavern Keeper after maybe like 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. Oh no. And it's mainly because there's downloadable content, it seems. They just dropped an update of some kind. At least it would seem. Now, I'm slightly worried as to where the last save state was, but we'll find out soon enough. Crash detected, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is the night prior. Well, that's actually perfect. Because that means that I can probably get a Halfling's Guild Market order in immediately because of the spuds. Also, I need to wean these guys off the Nomad's Nectar. Okay, that was a little bit garbage, but it's fine. We need to go to Halflington. I need an express delivery of gaffer spuds. Like a lot of them. Open accommodation, bulletin board. We already have pre-booked entertainment for the next day. That's wonderful. Right. Time to decongest some space. Pallet. More shelves. So drill. Move this from from here to here. Make sure you don't congest the area. I don't like the fact that it's not. Oh, okay. I think it figured out how to attach itself to the right place. Okay. That's supposed to be here. Then we add more room. The staff room here. Up like here, I'd say. So these are still serviceable and all. We're gonna add a little bit more to the bedroom here. And basically what I'm gonna do is cut off this area here and make it into additional bedroom space. So I can convert an area here into another bedroom so we can have even more accommodation space. Oh, we're gonna have new staff applications in like 4 hours. Let's check what we currently have in Star. Garbage. Great. Gonna need alcohol. How are my stores looking? No, like my storage. 30 Imperial Red in stock, 15 Lost Oasis, 10 Nectar, 7 Sand Scorcher. Not good. How's my fine flour? Good on fine flour. Give me 2 more. How much? Oh, that's gonna get it. Okay. It's gonna come here way too late. Proud. Roll. We have 68 slab shell grub in store. I think we're good on that. Need some. Oh yeah, let's grab some rock biter. Express delivery, please. Okay, we'll leave the blue cheese. Just need to refill whatever I have on the other one. Yep, letter from Vera.
Gugamash is buzzing with anticipation to see what Vera is building. It will be a historic moment, and your assistance is key. The construction site is close enough for both Vera's workers and a chemical stench to drift over to the tavern. Smells like progress.
Oh.
What if one of these houses is really a giant cookie jar? I can't stop thinking about it.
What? The fuck are you talking about, Hops? Why have we not repaired any of these? Why is this, especially the fountain, we need to repair as a priority? those my gaffer spuds? Excellent. I hate the fact that these guys decided to store everything in those barrels that they're as far away as humanly possible from everything else. Luckily, I can just nab them. Place them back where they need to be.
I'm glad you can give these groups a place to relax. They must be working
59.
hard for Vera.
The core. Do we have a void spot for the core somewhere? Oh, it's... yeah. Well. Just move these around. I think there was another ground brazier. I guess we can leave one in here so we can actually see what's happening. The core here? Oh, there's a dead zone. Guess I can leave a lantern here and then we can go for... How are there? Okay. Can I slap a horse painting just like... Does that work? It's gonna be so funny if it works. It does work. They just sometimes go into areas where there's like... Oh. Dirty ass movement. Okay. We're obviously gonna need more entertainers anyways. We'll start with Bustling Brussels, then go for Alana Dale. Finish off with Bailey Roland after an hour break. I'd say that's gonna be reasonable for investing. Oh yeah, new employees, what do we have? Garbage, garbage, garbage. I hate you. My options are not great. And I don't think I'll be getting any better ones, as it would seem. I hate you. That's so dumb. No. No. I don't care. This gets switched out to Rock Biter. Really? God. I guess it's not decent flavor. More stock delivered. It's one set of gaffer spuds. That's so dumb. Why such a low satisfaction? The core again. Where were you guys situated? There's like a voice mix up somewhere. Where is it? Here you go, have some table inlays, you animals. There's like a little bit of a space here where there's not a lot of things happening. Wow. Maybe just need to put like some kind of an actual decorative piece there. Like right here. Okay. Why do we not have normal plants? That's what I'm wondering. I can just slap a cleaver floating in midair. Come on. Maybe like an antique carpet? Nice little antique carpet? Maybe a sunburst rug? You like a rug? We do have some incredible antiques. Oh, we could, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can put some log shelves here. That looks nice. Why is this guy not getting hungry? Well, tough. Okay, what was your problem? Why is the decor? Where is the decor low? You mean to tell me that this is considered low decor? What the fuck am I supposed to do for these people? Well, I have an idea. This is not being used. Give me that fucking high quality halfling bar counter, son. Okay.
There's an upcoming event that we should keep an eye on.
Oh, there's more groups, I think. Indeed, there are. Back of pre-booked entertainment. Oh yeah, we do. That one's always open. We have one server at night shift, don't we? Ah, the other guy switches to... Okay, we need one more nighttime server, maybe? Yeah, I would say one more nighttime server wouldn't be bad. Not you. I'm not taking you. You're an asshole. You're hired. That burp got me. You are exactly what we're looking for, my friend. Exactly what we were looking for, my friend. Also, I'm fairly certain I can just... There we go. My bathrooms are 2 stars, right? Yes, perfect.
Is before dawn too early to check for groups to host? Hardly. The Gugamash work ethic is remarkable, and so should yours be.
Yep. Gotta love paintings. Keeping that decor nice and lively. That little table. The small pipe table isn't even remotely as good. What the hell? How expensive is that seating anyways? I think it's like 200 gold to place it. Yeah. $174. I should improve them, to be fair. The halfling table's pretty good, but I can definitely get some pipes up and set up. Okay, the dirty hole will be back in business soon enough. Problem is I need to find... Ah! The perfect opportunity has arisen for me to readjust the rules. Not there. It's gonna be like right here anyways. Okay, so here's the thing. Grab these and move them around. Because otherwise this is gonna be a bit of a problem. Okay, and then we create more of the bedroom. It sold both beds. Okay. Now, as soon as those rooms clear up, I'll basically be having enough of an opportunity to move everything ever so slightly inward. Wait, why not? Okay, fine. Letter from Vera. Find 10 toolboxes. Oops. What? Okay, just a sec. First things first. 5-bar spacer. Mother's tool shelf. Accounting shelf. Oh, that's really good. Okay, various workers left their toolboxes all over the area outside the tavern. Use the cavern control to look around. Oh, okay. 1, 2...
There's one. That wasn't so hard. This should be easy.
4...
Oh, 3 found already. You have a keen eye.
6...
5 down, 5 to go.
7...
They better be thankful you went to all this trouble. That's 7 down. Were these things lost or purposefully hidden?
Well, I'll tell you soon enough. Okay, 2 more. 1 more?
Only 1 left. You're incredible. But where could the last one possibly be?
I don't know. That's the worrisome part. I feel like it might be just 9 and they're fucking with me. Although I am hearing a tinkling. A little twinkle twankle. Ah!
You found all the tools? Nice work. That'll help the construction progress for sure. The workers say the rocket project is about 1/3 of the way there. Something about a big kiln?
Okay. How long is this guy gonna be in there? Get out. There we go. kicked it open, left it like that. An animal. Okay, this is somehow fine. Okay. We're gonna separate this via a wall and a little hallway. Like a little hallway. Just about enough to... Ooh, that gets off a lot of space. Okay, no. You know what? I'll just make a wall. I'll just make a wall. I don't need to worry about it that much. Ah, it's in use? What do you mean it's in use? Who's using it? Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so... I would say about ye. Probably don't need that one actually. Is this still how much? 50. We'll figure it out. It's probably missing some kind of an amenity anyways. We might actually be able to figure out a way to make it into 2 separate rooms. Experimental still is insanely expensive. Nice, okay. No, not that one. Grab the decorative pole, move it here. Grab this thing, move it in here. So it can mass illuminate everything in the core. Now this is a proper 2-star bedroom. This probably... Oh, why is there a fire extinguisher in here? Is there a possibility to move it in here? Yes. Perfect. What's happening? Oh, mandatory access point. Here? Wonderful. Okay, and now we just need to set up some beds. Why not? Well, fine, I'll run them along the wall. This to the side. Need another wash basin. Might not be bad to have some kind of warmth. Up in the middle. Illumination's good. Are we good? I think this is set up pretty well. And now we have more space for guests. Yes. Atmosphere, temperature. Temp's fine. What do you mean it's too cold for these people? Too cold, too hot. It's too hot. Okay. Fuck. This is a little bit big. Can I just leave it somewhere for now? Kind of. There we go. Well, we just ran out of something. What did we run out of? Imperial Red Rock Biter, Lost Oasis. Red Rock Biter, Lost Oasis. Oh no. Sand Scorcher is what we ran out of. Wait, what kind of delivery? Yeah, but we have a delivery. I don't know what delivery that is. I need to check. Oh. Oh boy.
One of Vera's engineers trots into the tavern looking for you. Oil and fuel stains streak her face and hands, and she wipes her palms on her apron before grabbing a drink. Hey, Vera sent me one assistant. Huge blast furnace done. Now it's time harden rocket hull. It all pretty close by, so soon you tavern gonna get real hot for bit. She drains the tankard with a single swig and wipes her mouth. Real soon. Real hot. Got it? I get back to work. Bye.
Blast furnace? For what?
For rocket? That not obvious? We make from local clay, porcelain. It real strong, using all Gugamush construction.
Really?
It like tall, narrow building with doorway up at tip, fins down at bottom like fish. Weird. She shakes her head in bemusement. She have her reason, I guess. Anyway, it has special hardening glaze so it not explode. Need high heat fire. Can't dry in sun, so we make special building size furnace harden it. Cutting edge, hotter than sun. Can't wait. Bye.
Hotter than sun? How hot are we talking?
She pauses on her way to the door and glances at the clock, then turns back begrudgingly. Like said, real hot. Cook egg on sidewalk or inside chicken. Stay inside, you be fine. She holds out a flat hand and wobbles it side to side. Maybe. Look, it only take couple hours, then over. Could do lower heat, but it take way longer. Vera said it inefficient. Also, give people time complain.
Makes sense. Get it over with quickly.
Yeah, you got it. The engineer scans the room and grunts. Lot of wood. Glad I'm not in here while we harden hull. All this kindling, this place ready become blast furnace too. Vroom. She chuckles a bit. Good luck. Thanks for drink.
Okay, you know that fountain that we just dropped?
The rocket project is halfway done.
Oh, I can't get it back in position. Wait, I should be able to get it back in position. Okay, there we go. We're gonna need that.
That blast furnace is sending loads of embers floating our way. You better stamp them out if they land in here.
Noted. One moment. One moment. Just a second. Oh, these are, no, they're here for no apparent reason. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. Right, delivery, I forgot. We ran out of Sand Scorcher, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Get 4, it's fine. Oh, my taps are running low on everything. Uh-oh. One moment. Nobody's touching Imperial Red, which I find really funny. I need blue cheese. Well, sterile, stellar aura as well. I tap him. Oh, we just got like 4 barrels of Sand Scorcher. Actually, yeah, that's, yeah. What do you mean no drink selected? I selected Sand Scorcher, motherfucker. Jesus. We don't have nighttime entertainment, do we? Uh-oh. Oh, and they're gonna start with elbows first. Jeez. Okay. Give me Russell.
I hear that thanks to all your support, the rocket project is
Oh.
nearly complete.
Okay, we had a pathing error. We'll just move these here. Also, I need more drawers. I need people to... I need places where people can change. A lot of them. Lord Needlin?
A man with a shaggy beard strides over to one of your staffers. You'd think him a forester or wild man, if not for his fine clothing. You there! Are you Vera's assistant? I'm Lord Neilden. I've travelled some distance from me manse in Riverbottom to have words with you. Strong words. The staffer points your way. Neilden jabs a finger at you. You there! You dare lay claim to the moon? What business do you have with it? Scoundrel, I'll eat your heart!
Did you just say you'd eat my heart?
What? No, of course not. You misheard me. I said I'd defeat you, upstarts. He reaches for a napkin, but flinches away from the silverware atop it. He pulls out a kerchief instead and mops his face, struggling to calm himself. It's in the papers. Some inventor and her assistant, you, invented a device to reach the moon, to purloin it for yourselves, no doubt. What other purpose could you rabble have? Well, you won't have it. It's mine. I mean, everyone's.
Well, it's ours now, but it could be yours. For a price.
You snatch the napkin and scribble a price on it, then slide it across the bar to him.
Greed, don't fail me now. Yes.
He unfolds the napkin with a sly glance over his shoulder, then grins. It seems your offer was a good one. That's all? For the entire moon? You have yourself a bargain. Have the official title sent to me in Riverbottom when the moon is in hand. Before it next turns full, mind you. I have an event on that day. Lord Neilden dumps a bag of gold on the counter, pockets the napkin, and saunters away. Hopefully, he'll be safely back in Riverbottom before it ever occurs to him that he's been conned.
Ah, don't worry about it. Nothing a little 300 buckaroos will not help butter up. Also, I thought that you were scheduled to not be maintained in these hours. Oh, this is pre... Oh. what do we have? We don't have more Cellini. Because we're currently cooking it. I think. Why is it not being cooked at the moment? I thought I got the gaffer spuds and everything. Yeah. Faulty brine, slab shell, grub. Do we run out of grub? I don't think that's possible. Yeah. Probably in the making. And this tab does not have a drink. Luckily we have Lost Oasis. Check the menu to make sure that somebody's actually gonna drink the stuff. Okay. Okay, things seem to be going fairly alright. Allow me to barely pause the experience for just a bit so you can know that everything is alright with my grandmother, make sure she's taking meds. I'll be back in a short few. We'll catch each other. Okay. Oh, let's get back to it. Salty brine spoiled? It's not exactly the end of the world, luckily. Okay, fire hazard areas have been cordoned off. We don't worry about those. Did we put the potbelly there? Yes. Good. Do we have entertainers? No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. We're gonna need to decongest heavily. I think that should be fine. At least we don't need, that's fine. Should be able to handle that. Place is nice and cool. Floor mat caught on fire.
Consider flow when laying out your rooms. Putting storage far from the tap room creates a lot of delay.
Yes, I am aware. Also why I'm very pissed off whenever they decide that it's the smartest thing in the world to grab a barrel and leave it 5 miles away from where it's supposed to go. It's not what I want to pick up, and you damn well know it. Maybe it's because they can't reach these barrels, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're just being lazy. Wall caught on fire. What the hell? Okay, so we're gonna put a cooler in the spaces where we have torch fire because I feel like that might be a little bit too hot. Okay, everything seems to be working in perfect condition. Except my servers who are being slow. Why? Too many orders. Well, shit, man. What's happening with her? Nobody knows. We usually need another server in the daytime. That's so silly. New servers, please. Maybe like a silver one that doesn't suck. I'll take that as a no. Why do we get gold gear? Oh, wow. A nighttime 3-star dog's body. This is not what we need. What is even happening? Oh my god. One more. Surely there's gonna be at least one server in this roster. Insane. It is what it is. Can't find stew anywhere, but that's because you need to make it. You used it up. Combo. Okay, let's check the storeroom. I'm missing something for sure. Need trout, need flour, need stellar aura blue cheese. Oh boy, we need more sides. I didn't realize sides were that important. Okay. Let's start with the important ones. How's grub doing? Yeah, okay, so 2 cheese, 2 grub, 2 trout. Express delivery. 1 barrel of Lost Oasis, 2 of Rock Biter, 1 Stellar Aura. Fine Flower. How are we doing on Sand Scorcher? 2 more barrels of Sand Scorcher, please.
The rocket will be done any day now. I'm
Yay.
so excited for the unveiling.
Don't be. It's a bad idea. Okay, we're gonna be heavily congested in large periods of time. So Holy Harmony is gonna come in right around here, so followed by Songbird and Annadale. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow. Oh, I just paid.
The rock-it is complete at last, and the day of unveiling is at hand.
Cool.
No doubt Vera will summon you soon. She'll need her assistant for the big day. I'm sure it will be a blast.
Okay. Governor announcement. Oh, okay. It's on it. Attention all. Vera done with important new thing. Come to big reveal middle day tomorrow. It near the dirty hole. Go there. Governor. Why is this still working?
We are in the red. Better watch our finances.
I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, recessed boilers and small halfling tables. Nice. So dinner for 2 is actually a unique even. Wild. We have 3 rooms, that's nice. I like how the salty brine basically does not withstand anything. Wait. Yeah, the kitchen one is fine. What? Are they still working? Weird. I really need to figure out a way to maintain these coolers in a way that it actually doesn't impact my performance that much. But they're like... Something's happening with the salty brine, by the way. I don't know what. Is pen mightier than sword? No. Sword chop pen. It's so easy. Things happen to people in places. You get gist. Farm. Number 1 exotic site to see destination. You not believe who own Moon now. I wouldn't worry about it. I like how, instead of actually having like a proper storage system, these geniuses just keep storing them in the further larder, and then I have to just kind of bring them back to the one that they're actually supposed to use until they basically leave me with an option of like, you know, shelf with 1 ale on it. Great choice. Well, at least I can keep swapping them out.
What a hubbub. Vera should be coming to fetch us for the reveal any time now.
Oh, there's Vera.
Spectators have gathered from across the land to see Vera's invention unveiled. It's a strange ceramic structure, taller than the tavern and shaped like an arrowhead. She's asked you to stand with her for her speech. Behold, this my invention. It fly. It named Rocket because it made of rock. She raises her voice. We choose go to moon and get moon rock and them other things, not because it easy, but because rocks am hard. The crowd erupts into applause and cheers.
Applaud enthusiastically.
Vera notices your enthusiasm and beams as she continues. But first, we see how high it go. I dedicate today to own brilliance, and to much lesser brilliance of assistant here. 3 cheer for Vera. 2 cheer for tavern keeper. She takes your arm and raises it above your head, leaning close to whisper as the crowd roars again. Bad news, good news. Bad news, there was wrinkle with test launch. Need backup astronaut. Good news, backup is you. You ready go down history?
I might regret this, but I'll do it.
You hand Hops's bottle to a bystander and climb a rickety ladder toward the hatch of the rocket. Inside is a small chamber. There's a seat in the center and a single control stick. You sit down. The hatch slams shut. Outside, Vera is counting backwards for some reason. 3, 2, 1. A deafening cataclysm. Fire. Momentum. Your cheeks flatten against your face. You turn your head and see clouds whipping by through a small window.
Uh-oh.
You continue to climb relentlessly, shaking violently as the sky outside goes white with clouds. Then dark. Abruptly, the roar of burning fuel stops. In the cavernous silence, you lift gently from your seat. Weightless, adrift in space. You can't help but reflect that Vera never mentioned getting back.
Uh-oh.
You take stock of your surroundings. There's a small window and a wick protruding from under your seat.
Check the window.
The blue sky has been replaced by an incredible sea of stars. It's breathtaking. Beside the hatch hangs a strange uniform, a bodysuit made of soft oiled fabric. A bulky helmet dangles from a clip near the collar, too cumbersome and too flimsy to be useful for combat. For some reason, a rock is tied to the suit's foot. Aside from that, there's only the simple handle on the hatch.
Try and figure out the suit first, then open it.
You tug
I have some
on the
smarts.
slick suit, attaching the complicated clips and straps as best you can.
Okay, let's not fuck this one up. This would be pretty bad if we do. Let's retry it. Let's not fuck up now. Okay.
The helmet fastens to the suit itself with heavy iron clasps. Definitely a form of armor. Maybe Vera is worried you'll encounter space monsters. Securely outfitted, you turn your attention to the hatch. All it takes is a gentle tug on the handle, and the hatch explodes outward, sending you tumbling out in a rush of escaping air. You feel a tug on your ankle and notice the rock tethered to the suit is actually an earth elemental. It glares at you and strains toward Earth, dragging you with it.
An earth elemental homing device? Vera is a genius.
The elemental drags you back toward the atmosphere, drawn to its home element like metal to a magnet. The crowd mobs you when, against all odds, you survive Vera's misadventure. They cheer your name, lift you up. You're a hero. You're never doing that again. Vera charges toward you, fists in the air, bellowing. Even as she shouts at you, her eyes are locked on the sky. You greatest orcstronaut ever live! Hero, legend! You name leaving science history forever! Right below mine.
So, what now?
As the celebration surges around you, Vera finally pulls her eyes away from the fate of her greatest achievement. Not know what you gonna do, but me? She fixes them on you, and you recognize the manic gleam building within them. She grabs you by the shoulders, flashing a wild grin. Now I build bigger rocket.
Oh boy. Yay! The Gugamush scenario has been completed! Rocket launch smash success! Big launch went off without hitch. Source verified no horses involved at all. Vera launch rocket piloted by a local tavern keeper and friend of Gugamush. It careen up on big column fire, then explode majestically. Truly this magnificent leap for orc endeavor. Tavern keeper make it back to ground safely, much to onlooker disappointment. Maybe next time, say Vera. Governor debate political rival, ending clean knockout. Visionary Vera now vow walk on sun by end of year. Ampersand, the crazy squiggle that save you write 2 extra letters. Hell yeah. Oh, we have another group here. Oh, a letter from the Tavern Keepers Guild. Attention, Tavern Keeper. We have received word that you have performed admirably. You have not only represented the guild well in local business, but contributed to the discovery of a new substance. Subsequent loss and devastation notwithstanding. Well done. We're eager to see what you do next, and have approved you to open a tavern in Domain. The situation there is rapidly developing into one worth exploring. Okay. Tavern Keepers Guild Council has appointed
You've helped extend a hand to touch the heavens. But now, it's time to pry your eyes off the stars. The guild needs you on solid ground. Or below it, rather, to the kingdom of the dwarves. Ah, this next chapter is written on gold leaf. How extravagant. That's all the story I have for you now, but the next bit is coming soon. I would call that something of a cliffhanger, wouldn't you? Not long to wait now for the full story. Final drafts are so exciting. See you then.
Hell yeah. Well done. You finished the 3rd level of the campaign scenario, and that's all for now. But there is so much yet to come. 3 more unique levels, a 5-star tavern rating cap, over 100 stories, and many, many, many cozy hours of tavern keeping are headed your way. But why wait for that? There's more to discover right now. Embrace the challenge of higher difficulty settings, try new layouts in free play mode, or design your own furniture and decorations in the item workshop. There's plenty to do, but above all, have fun. Hell yes. This is actually a wonderful way to end the stream for today. I'm glad. I didn't know how much of the Gugamush scenario was left. But yeah, no, I would like to thank Kat for the gift of this game. I really appreciate it. It's I'm not gonna lie, I don't usually work with management sims that much, but like, I actually enjoyed myself. This is really nice. Like, genuinely creating the tower and having to work with layouts that are really difficult to accommodate for. Having, having to make sure that everything is like high star rating and everything of that kind of variety. Like, that was really fun to me. And I will probably be playing a whole bunch of free play on this game. Purely because I just wanna see how big and cool I can make my taverns. And because I'm on stream more often than not when it comes to decorations, I tended to focus heavily on basically just like making sure that we get the tavern rating high enough, and we also get the decoration rating high enough for the 3-star guests to basically not be dickheads about it. But yeah, this was incredibly fun. This was an incredibly fun game. Thank you, and thank you, developers, for creating this fun game. Yeah, no, this is wonderful. So, I'm wondering what I should do tomorrow. I'm still tracking down an HR monitor for Subnautica, and I haven't had the opportunity to try the VR Subnautica, so I can make sure that I'm not gonna get, you know, sick while I'm playing it. I'll test it out soon. So tomorrow I'm gonna be playing another game that got gifted to me by incredible Ivaloinen, a great friend and a fan of the stream. She has been generous enough to gift me the original Dishonored, which I would like to replay again for a very simple reason, my friend. The original time I played Dishonored, and you are going to be wondering, you know, what do you mean, Doge? You just said you played the game, but you didn't own it? Somebody gifted it to you? Yes. I didn't have a Steam account back when Dishonored came out. So yeah. I've played a bunch of games that I have basically... I'll put it this way. I've basically had to purchase a whole bunch of games in respect out of the developers because they provided me with many, many hours of entertainment with their incredible games. But unfortunately, at the time, I didn't have enough money to pay my respects financially, or vote with my wallet, as you would. And I had to do it at a much later date when I actually had, like, you know, cards of debit cards of my own, and, you know, finances of my own. Dishonored was not one of them. I played it. I thought it was weird back then. I didn't enjoy myself. I got frustrated that I couldn't kill people because killing people equal bad. Despite my high-profile targets basically being eliminated with their... Oh, no, I didn't. I was an asshole about it. I basically subverted their killing and then killed them anyways. Yeah, that was dumb. So yeah, I didn't understand how to... I didn't understand the assignment of that game. So now, instead of going into this high chaos, high detection rate stuff, I might do one of two ways. It's either gonna be stealth non-lethal or not stealth non-lethal. I want to fight. I want to do the most peaceful run as humanly possible, just because I want to see how, you know, what the difference is. Because I was so bad that, like, whenever the game ended, the boatman hated me so much that he actually flared the enemies to my location. But I was so far gone with, you know, the, what was it, the Outcast's mark. And I had so many gifts that were just like rat swarms and stuff like that, that I basically just eradicated my way through the game. So now I just want to see what's going to happen if I'm as sneaky as humanly possible. That might be fun. Alright. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Really appreciate everybody who stumbled across the channel and sat around and watched. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit the follow button. It helps the channel grow. For tomorrow, we will be playing Dishonored. I have another game on the back burner that I've wanted to play for ages, and there's even a second one confirmed for it, which means that that's gonna be increased urgency, but it also... I kind of want to make some visual iterations to my model before we start that game. I want to be playing it in celebration of my updates. So, we'll see what I can do. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully we're gonna see each other tomorrow.